The Black Business Beat.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-635-3311. That's 1-800-635-3311. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-635-3311. That's 1-800-635-3311.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect that of the staff and management of Good Karma Brands, but are the sole responsibility of the host and guests of this particular show.
America may have many, many days, but they will be full of trouble. There will be no rest. There will be no tranquility in this country until the nation comes to terms with our problems.
Bringing you social and political commentary from his mouth to your ears, breaking down the issues which matter to you.
You're not put here to be a white man's footstool. You're put here to represent the very best in God's word.
Legendary civil rights icon, the Reverend Jesse Jackson in the studio. Reverend Jackson, how are you?
Mr. Reverend, good morning on this chilly Milwaukee morning.
And I am pleased to have one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party, Chairman Bobby Seale. Mr. Chairman, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing just fine. Thank you.
To Mr. Eric Holder. Mr. Holder, so good to see you. How are you?
Well, I'm fine, man. How you been? It's been a long time. Haven't seen you for a while.
The Dr. Cornel West. Dr. West, how are you, sir?
My dear brother, you're so kind, you're so generous, though, man, but I salute you and the work that you were doing there. Doing a magnificent job there in Wisconsin.
Stream live on 1017thetruth.com. Call in with your questions or comments. 833-212-1017. Join us on social media at 1017thetruth. It may not be what you expect to hear, but I will definitely give you what you need to know. Are you ready for the truth?
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Sherwin Hughes.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is May 1st, 2023. I was giving this topic a lot of thought, and I was trying to figure out how I was going to present it, how I was going to deliver this information, because this is something that I have understood my entire life, but it's never been like justified through any books I've read or statistics or stories in major media. It's just this thing that I've seen my entire life, and I like external justifications or external validations for things that I see. Because when I talk about these things that I see, don't worry, I'm going to get to the details of it. I know I'm being cryptic. I'm being cryptic on purpose. Especially when it comes to race. If there's something that I see and there's something that I notice, and other people may not see it and may not notice it, if nobody's talking about it, if they're not posting about it, if they're not writing about it, if it doesn't appear in local news or national news, I sometimes keep these things to myself because maybe it's just me that sees this thing, this contrast that exists amongst people. You know, we like to find everything that we have in common, and that's great. But I think we know what we have in common as human beings. Everything. We all want the same things. Our body parts are interchangeable. Race is a social construct. So when you think about it, we essentially have everything in common. So what I sometimes do, and this usually makes white people mad, I look at our differences to try and figure out exactly where our differences come from. And our differences usually are arbitrary, or they're ego, or there's some pseudo supremacy or privilege that people believe they have because of their history or their country of origin or whatever the case may be. Their skin color, of course. They think that they have some kind of righteousness, and it's not always conscious. Sometimes it's just the default setting that white people get the benefit of the doubt, right? But why do they think that? Now, when I dig deep and I look at the reasons why, when I look at our differences, it's just so arbitrary. There is no particular skill set that is inherent in any one racial or ethnic group versus another. So I tend to focus on the differences to exploit how ridiculous and nonsensical they are. But as much as I want to say that our differences between people, between races, is nonsensical, there's real harm that is caused because of these differences that are arbitrary and made up. The thing that I've seen my entire life, that there's such a clear line of demarcation between black people and white people in this thing. I'm going to make some people mad today. Y'all ready to get mad on a Monday? I'm ready to make you mad. I don't care. Get mad if you want to. But there's something I've seen my entire life, and I try and call attention to it. Sometimes I keep my mouth shut. Sometimes I laugh at people, and I laugh usually to myself because I don't want to share this because people are so sensitive about this topic, and it's a huge difference that I see between black people and white people. It so informs our culture. Y'all know what it is? You don't know what it is. What do you think some of the biggest differences between black people and white people? And it's not like music or dancing or any of that stuff, because there's some very good white dancers. I just don't know any. Well, Justin Timberlake, right? He's a white guy. He dances. Justin Timberlake is a white version of Michael Jackson. Can we just call it what it is? Can we just stop pretending that he's not? Rhea, I don't even know why you're making that face. If you close your eyes and listen to Justin Timberlake, and if you listen to his soprano tone of his voice, he's Michael Jackson. What group was he? He was with NSYNC, right? What you mean don't do this? This ain't even the topic I'm talking about. If y'all want this smoke, I know Tori ain't here, but damn it, I got smoke too. NSYNC ain't nothing but a white version of the Jackson 5. All of them. What was the other one? What's the other white group? NSYNC.
The Backstreet Boys.
The Backstreet Boys. All of them. They just white versions of the Jackson 5. But no, Justin Timberlake is a little white Michael Jackson. Why y'all taking me off topic already? I don't even know. You know, today it's going to be May. So those of you that know, you know. Most of you probably don't. You're getting me off topic here. But there's some real serious differences in this one particular topic between black people and white people. Now, there is some blurring of the lines. Like me growing up, this is something that I saw exclusively in white homes that I did not see in black homes. And even to this day, it is still the industry. There's an industry associated with this thing, this major difference that I see between the black people and the white people. But now the lines are being blurred generationally. So younger people of any and all races may be involved in this thing that I've always considered almost exclusively white. And when white people do something almost universally, it becomes a part of who they are, and it becomes a part of their identity. And remember, if white people have any kind of identity in this country, it becomes the identity of everybody else. And if you are outside of that identity that these white folks have concocted and created, then you're the weird one. You're the odd one. Oh, Sherwin, what do you mean? I don't understand. What, you don't like that? Well, what's wrong with you? I know y'all aren't going to guess what it is. The younger the generations, the more likely they are to participate in this. It's like it's a lifestyle. It's an activity. It guides people's spending. I have this chart here. Oh my God, the white folks spend so much money on this thing, especially since the pandemic. They spend billions and billions of dollars on this thing, this lifestyle, this cultural adaptation. I don't even know what to call it. It's just so ubiquitous, and it's just almost universal amongst the whites. But there are segregation components in it. Are y'all guessing it? You ain't gonna be able to guess it. It's pet ownership. Overwhelmingly, white people own pets. In fact, they're 5 times more likely to own a cat than black people. Something else that I've seen, I still see it every single day. And now that I'm so aware of it, it becomes much more apparent. So dogs. right? Some of y'all think your dogs are people. This goes back to when I saw the rescue efforts for Hurricane Katrina. Remember Hurricane Katrina? There was a lot of rain and a lot of people were drowning and whatever. It was real bad. George Bush didn't do anything, and then Kanye West said George Bush don't care about black people and all that other stuff. Do you know that they had a fundraising event, like a telethon, to raise money for the pets that were stranded in Hurricane Katrina? And there was an effort for people to adopt these pets whose owners were dead. And so I don't know if I'm exaggerating this, but I swear to you, there was somebody standing in waist-high water, like crying, like, oh my God, and these dogs and there's cats that are in the trees because they're afraid of the water. And it's like a human body is floating past them in the background, and they're trying to find homes for these pets. I got an article here, but I'm going to wait until I come back from my first intermission before I get into it. Have you guys ever seen this? Do you guys, first of all, do any of you have white friends? You need white friends to be able to know what I'm talking about here. It'll be a white person. I'll be with a white person, any kind of white person, a tall one, a short one, a fat one, a white person with multicolored hair. There's many flavors of white people. And I'll be with a white of my choice that day. And there'll be another white on the sidewalk with a dog. And my white of choice, will stop what the hell they're doing. Oh my God, what kind of dog is that? I love your dog. What's your dog's name? And they'll just bend down and just start petting the dog. And the dog sometimes is not having it. Sometimes the dog is licking the person's face. When have you ever seen a black person walking down the street, two black folk, another black person walking toward them down the street, down the sidewalk, where the black people stop and engage the black dog owner? We don't do it. There's actually a racial component to this that is going to blow your mind. So this is something I've seen my entire life, because white dog ownership is exponentially higher than black dog ownership. It actually is a tool to keep people segregated. Oh, y'all are going to love this. Take a break, come back. Going to talk to Alan. Going to get into the racial demographics and the lopsided spending and what white people spend on their pets based on what black people spend. And in fact, according to these charts, black folks, if you have pets, you just let your damn pet starve. Because based upon how little we spend on feeding our pets, I don't know what the hell y'all doing. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on the new 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
Truth Nation, just press play. Your favorite award-winning 101.7 The Truth shows are now streaming live on video. Watch us live on 101.7 The Truth's Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and of course, 1017thetruth.com. Just press play for the home of Milwaukee Black Talk, 101.7 The Truth.
This is Dr. Ken Harris from Truth in the Afternoon. Listen to The Truth all day, every day by downloading the Truth app or streaming on Spotify, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Stitcher. Milwaukee Black Talk, 101.7 The Truth.
Your first date? Going well. The carnival? Cash only. But you've got this, just like Associated Bank's got you, with access to over 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs. So when you decide to win that giant stuffed purple raccoon at $5 a throw, we're looking out for you, no matter how many throws it takes. You've got this, with 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the new 101.7 The Truth. Here is Telly Hughes with his truth.
I have a question. Besides athletes and entertainers, who do our black and brown youth have to look up to? Who are the influencers and role models our adolescents strive to become? Because we all know there are no more Cosby shows or any other medium that drives home what a successful black household looks or operates like. Seeing is believing, but if there's a lack of positive portrayals of black men, then the unsubstantiated stereotypes will continue to be perpetuated and played out in society and social media. The absence of mainstream positive black male role models put our black and brown youth in a peculiar spot because they haven't been properly trained on what it takes to become a productive citizen, nor have they had the luxury of being exposed to the process. Like it or not, we all are influencers in some form or fashion, whether it's recognized by the public or just your immediate family and friends. We all must be cognizant of the moves we make because there's always someone watching, which in essence make you an influencer. Take that responsibility, put it near and dear to your heart, and no matter how hard the struggle may get, continue to lift as you climb. I am ready to take on that responsibility. Are you?
This has been Truth Takes on the new 1017 The Truth. Listen to The Truth Be Told with DT and Telly weekdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Do you own any pets? Do you have a dog? Do you have a cat? Do you guys notice the difference in how white people and how they interact with their dogs? Like even like black people when they do have pets, I think, and I'm stereotyping here, right? Because that's all I can do because there's not a lot of data and a lot of science. But what I've seen in 48 years, well, that's my data and that's my science. Black people treat their animals like they're animals. Like they'll still love them. They'll feed them, I guess, on occasion. But with white folks, the dog has like a seat at the dinner table. The dog sleeps in the bed with the people. It's also, there's a gender component to it as well. Women are much more likely to have pets than men, single women in particular. Fellas, if you've been single any time in the last, I don't know, really any time in your life, I guess it doesn't matter when you were single. Have you ever met a woman that has a pet? Of course you have. I'm sure you have. You ever met a woman that has a pet where the pet sleeps in bed with the woman, even if you are in bed with the woman? Nothing worse. That's a human bed for human people. Because here's the thing. If you let your dog sleep in your human bed, do you take your ass and sleep in a pet bed? Is that, let's take a nap together, Fido, and you crawl up in a little ball and you ball up in the pet bed? I think it's disgusting. I really think it's vile. Let's talk to.
Hi.
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing well. I don't know why you're laughing so hard. I've said nothing but true things.
Up. You're fun. Well, you speak the truth. It's 1017 The Truth.
That's right.
With Sherwin Hughes.
That's right.
So it's your particular truth. I'm just going to tell you. I'm white, you know.
Oh.
But we've had pets my entire life.
I believe it.
I'm 62. So when I was little, we had two pets. We had one. It wasn't a pet. We had one of the original, a German Rottweiler back in like 1963, 64. Because my daddy traveled a lot. So when he was gone, he wanted to make sure Mama was safe. So we had a real life German Command attack dog at our house.
Like it responded in German, like one of those?
Yeah, it only spoke German.
Yeah.
It only would respond really to my mom and my and there's some funny stories about that. There was a German police dog named Fritz. And Fritz this cop was a bully. And imagine Kenosha cops being bullies, but even back then. And one time the dog got out and was in our yard, was doing something. My daddy opened the door and let Beto out. And the cops were freaking out. The cops were in a tree. And the police dog was literally peeing itself. It wouldn't come out of the squad car because they had let Fritz chase our neighbor's little dog. They thought that was funny.
Oh.
So my daddy opened the door and let Beto out and gave him the word. And once you give him the word, but anyway, we couldn't play. I mean, we could kind of, but when people came over, you had to lock him up. He couldn't be around strangers. But then we had a little dog. So the little dog was a cockapoo and named Ginger, and she was a spoiled rotten. So anyway, I've had dogs, and I was single. I still had dogs, and I'd keep them. You know, if I had where I couldn't have them, I'd have them at my mom and dad's house, and I'd go visit them and stuff. But so when I met my wife, she had two little poodles. They were Pepper and Nitro Man, and Pepper. And them dang dogs, I never saw nothing like it. They were just spoiled, completely rotten with a little clothes. So now you can hear them. We have 4 dogs. Joe.
4 dogs?
I have 4.
Why you need 4 dogs,
Willie
Alan?
Earl.
Nobody needs 4 dogs.
I didn't need 4 dogs, but my wife wanted. When Gio, we had little Jack. We had some other. We always get rescue dogs, and one got sick, and we had to he had a blood disease, and I could afford to have him keep getting surgeries and stuff, but I didn't want him to suffer. So I really went through something with him. I had to, she don't go. So when the dogs I got to go with them. But him, it was really hard. I mean, I sang him home, and even the people at the vet place were kind of like, they were crying. They said, "My God, you can sing," And I was just singing my pal home, and I was singing all those little sad Irish songs to him, and held him when he went. But so then we ended up, I think a week later, we were going to get another dog, and we went to the pound. And Ty had one in mind, right? But I saw this thing. I looked at her, and she had ears like an elf. And I said, "Well, what about this?" And she said, "I don't know." And I said, she goes, "Well, what one do you want?" And you never make a choice, right? You don't pick when your wife is with you. So you're never going to make the right choice. So I said, "Well, you pick." And she said, "Well, why don't we try this one?" And I fell in love with this dog, man. And you're talking about Louisiana. She had been in pounds for 2 years. She was from Louisiana. She never saw snow. She'd never been out of a pound. So we got her, and we named her Grace. And Gracie, for a year, was our baby. Gracie had she got everything you can think of. So if Mama went out wearing a blue dress, Gracie had a blue dress.
Oh.
And you've met us. You know my wife is beautiful. Everywhere we went, that dog went with us. She was my best. I mean, I go to the mall with my dog, and I'd be wearing a pink shirt. My dog would have a little pink dress on, and I'd walk her, and I'd still be doing what
Alan, wait a minute. You wear matching clothes with the dog?
Yeah, we still do.
You think that's normal? That's a normal thing?
I don't care. Well, it's what I do. I don't care if it's normal. Right. I got enough people. I mean, I'm going to tell you something. This is kind of how I live my life. I mean, all my neighbors around here know us. And they'll be like, "Yeah, that's your wife." The young men will be on the corner. Every year you get a new crop, you know what I'm saying? They're like, "Man, is that your wife, sir?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "My God, how did you do that?" And I'm still wondering. But, the thing is with the dogs, it's like not too long ago they had this thing called COVID. You know about COVID, right?
I heard of it a time or two, yeah.
Yeah. I'm one of them. Anyway, I was at the mall, and the Fuzz. Imagine at Mayfair Mall, there was a cop, and I had 2 of my pups with me. And this cop said to me, "Sir, where's your mask?" And I just kept walking. I said, "Man, I forgot you got one, rock on. I want to talk to you." I said, "Well, talk to yourself. I'm busy." And "Oh, are those working pups? Are those working animals?" I said, "Sir, these are my comfort pets. You got to see when I'm not with them." So then I go to the store, and they're like, "Oh, Mr. So-and-so, how are you?" "Oh, yes, the dang dogs are peeing on the floor." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, we'll get that for you, sir. What would you like?" And I said, "Well, my wife wants blah, 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 blah. Can you go grab it for me?" Sure. "Would you like that wrapped?" I'm like, "Yeah, can you do that?" But anyway, the pets are part of I got a certain car. I mean, they can go in one car. They got their own car. They all have their own rooms. They have their own beds.
Wait a minute. You said, no, I need you to stop for a second. They have their own car that you ride them around in?
Yeah, if I go, if you see me driving around town during the day, sometimes when I call you, if I'm not at work, I got cars. I'm not going to drive my good cars to work, even so I'm not going to, the neighbors, I'm not going to get carjacked. So some of that stuff I got parked different places. But I got a couple cars here, but one of the ones we have here is specifically for, if I take the dogs out running around during the day.
Okay, because you don't mind if there's pet hair in that vehicle.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have a vehicle for the car. And you said they have their own rooms?
Yeah, they got their own rooms and their own beds.
Alan, you literally proved the only way you defied the stereotype is the fact that your wife is black. Yeah, but you fit every stereotype of white people and pet ownership I've ever seen.
Here's the thing. But when I own a dog, when I own dogs, you think I didn't dress my dogs up when you think we dressed up that Rottweiler? he had a collar on and he ate beef, And then they eat their own food too. I just went to the Aldi's over here and I bought they eat ground turkey and rice with some vegetables mixed in. So
you don't even buy them kibble. You buy them people food, and you cook for the dogs.
Yeah.
I gotta go, Alan. I have to go. I gotta go.
See, but dig this. This was like a normal call.
Yep.
That was normal.
Uh-huh. So what colors are you and your dogs wearing today? Have you picked out your outfits yet? It's raining. You're going to need little raincoats.
They have boots. They have little boots. They have raincoats. I'm outside right now. So their names are Willie Earl, Geo, Layla, but she would call her Goo because her eyes kind of roll around in her head, and then Gracie. So
Alan.
Willie Earl's named after my uncle Willie, who was a real life war hero in World War I.
I thought Willie Earl was two damn dogs. You got a dog. That's named after like a Southern general. I'm Willie Earl. Willie Earl Jackson.
Yeah, he's named after my uncle, William Earl.
Alan, I want you to do me a favor. I know you have pictures of your dogs, right? I know you do.
Yeah, we got all over the internet.
Here's what I want you to do. Can you text the same number that you call? Can you text us some pictures of your dogs, preferably dressed up? Can you, or have Ty do it?
I can do it. When I want to text you, I can text you this 888 number.
That's correct. You can text words or pictures.
I was going to text you pictures of us on Easter. We went somewhere. We were really shaking up the clientele where we go. And this man was staring so hard at Ty that his wife moved. And then the sun was coming in, like just right. They always sit us at this table, but the sun comes, and my wife looked like a goddess. And when she flashed her ring, you got to see this picture. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Send it.
I'll figure out how to do it, and I'll do it later on today. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Alan.
So 8888 something, right?
It's the number you just called, man. 833-212-1017. You called the number. Just text the.
Yeah. So it's 833-212-1017.
That's right.
And I can text you pictures. I can text you stuff all the time.
Hold on now. Let's not get carried away. But I would just want to see pictures of the dogs. That's all.
Well, I got to find ones of them dressed up. I got some. I know I got pictures of all 4 dogs outside.
I know you do. Yeah.
But she's sniffing his butt.
Okay, all right, Alan. That's enough. I got enough out of you. So Alan has been calling my radio shows for a decade now. And how do I even describe this? So I saw them out at my favorite restaurant, and I knew what he looked like. And he always talks about his wife. He always talks about his wife. Oh, he just loves his wife. And when I say he's a white guy, he should tell his story one of these days. Like, he's a former white nationalist that has the tattoos. He went to prison. He was with an organized racist group in his 20s. Like, I'm not kidding you. But I don't know, had to come to Jesus, and something happened where he fell in love with this black woman that he married. And so I remember being at my restaurant that I was at, my favorite restaurant, and I first saw him, and there's no dance floor at this restaurant, okay? And he is just in the aisle, just doing some zany dance. It's a live band where people just kind of sit and sip their cocktails and listen to the music. He is up just dancing, feet, heels, clicking, doing all sorts of stuff. And then I see his wife. I can't even describe to you this scene. This very, very Caucasian, former white nationalist white man with his black wife. And now they tell me about the dog. So, okay. Yeah, I never know how these topics are going to go once I start. So I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to get into a few more details on these racial differences in dog ownership and pet ownership, and where, like Alan described, their dogs, he said the dogs have rooms in their house. Some of y'all kids don't even have their own rooms. You know what I'm saying? They're very different when it comes to their pets. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on the new 1017 The Truth. If you have a dog or not, 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Do you treat your pets like people? Just curious. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
We dropped our bags, grabbed a coffee, and headed straight for the shops where I found these amazing souvenirs. Then we chatted with the locals who pointed us towards this fantastic bistro for lunch.
Wow, your vacation sounds amazing.
Oh, that was just our trip through the terminal. Our flight to Cabo is boarding now. Bon voyage!
With super convenient parking and low fares on nonstops nationwide, flying from the Milwaukee airport makes traveling so easy. It's like starting your vacation early. Fly easy, fly MKE.
Reaching out for support is an important step that takes courage. At Ascension, Wisconsin, our mental health professionals are committed to delivering compassionate support and care at every step through personalized substance use disorder programs. Ready for recovery? We're here to listen and offer compassionate support. Start your recovery with our team by your side. Call 855-830-WELL, which is 855-830-9355.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets, and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. After winning the first 2 games of the series, the Milwaukee Brewers dropped Game 3 to the Los Angeles Angels by a final score of 3-0. Calvin Ray, who got the start, he pitched pretty good, allowing only 2 earned runs over 5 innings of work. The Brewers' offense, however, was no help, only logging 3 total hits on the day against Angel starter Jose Suarez. Next up for the 18-10 Brewers is a 6-game road trip that begins in Colorado on Tuesday. Over to the NBA, behind 50 points from Steph Curry means the Warriors are moving on in the Western Conference playoffs as they win Game 7 over Sacramento by a final of 120-100. And lastly, the Miami Heat went into Madison Square Garden Sunday and took Game 1 of their Round 2 series over New York by a final of 108-101 to grab the early 1-0 series lead. This sports update is brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I'm talking about the ways in which the two races that have the deepest history in this country are very, very different. And one of those ways in which we are different is pet ownership, not just the fewer number of African Americans that own pets, but the exorbitant amount of money that Caucasian folks will spend on their pets. Let me tell you something. Look, my whole life, my friends have had dogs. Some dogs have been really wonderful. Some dogs, I like to see more than even my friends that own the dogs. But I have personally never had a dog. And I thought about it, right? During the pandemic, I thought about getting a dog. But then I think of the other things that go along with it. Like, what if I want to go out of town and go travel? You got to find somebody to take care of your dog. And my parents would not take care of my dog, so I don't want to be burdened with that. But then there's this other thing called the damn vet bill. Do you know the dogs can get diabetes? I'm like, I love you, buddy, but I ain't nobody giving you no insulin. I ain't paying no $2,000 a month for you to get insulin, buddy. Sorry. No way, buddy. Like, dogs get sick. You ever been around somebody, been in somebody's house when their dog ate some bad food and got diarrhea? Oh, you ever seen that before? No, thank you. But I get it. People fall in love with their dogs. Their dogs are companions. Their dogs are very, very loyal. I tend to have a little bit more faith in people because people can actually talk. People use the bathroom. People don't poop in the yard. I mean, in certain circumstances, I guess people might poop in the yard. But one of the other differences is, and I got an article, I got a couple of them here, that Caucasian people, because dog and pet ownership is so deeply ingrained in their culture, that they interact with one another based on pet ownership. So if somebody owns a Chihuahua, that's a bad example because people don't really walk Chihuahuas. What's a walkable dog? A golden retriever. There's a Caucasian person. You know, golden retrievers are basically, I mean, they look like blonde white women, right? Sometimes if I see a blonde white woman walking a golden retriever, hell, I don't know who's walking who. And so if I'm on the sidewalk or I'm just minding my own business and there's a person walking their golden retriever and there's someone else who owns a golden retriever, like, boom, they'll instantaneously bond and start talking. You know, the person who owns the golden retriever but their dog is at home will start petting this dog. Oh my God, that's just like my dog. And they actually bond over pet ownership. And I've seen it my entire life. I have got a real serious problem with, you know, you can get your dogs these vests, and the vests like emotional support animals. That's insane to me. That's insane to me. I've gone to the grocery store and I saw this woman had her little dog in the, you know, the part of the shopping cart where you put your children. She had her dog in a shopping cart. It was just vile to me. And the dog is sitting in the shopping cart, and then the woman, I'm sure, will do her shopping and she'll scan her groceries and she'll leave and then she'll put the cart back. Like, someone will put their food when they're shopping where that dog had its ass. And dogs, when they go number 2, don't use toilet paper. Do you see what I'm getting at? Do you see how disgusting that is? It's vile to me. But it's something that I am just so, like, apart from. I'm just so separated from that because I've never had a pet. And maybe if I had one, I'm sure I would feel differently. But I also see how pet ownership brings white people together. At the same time, it segregates white people from us. This one is from U.S. News. Cities in the United States are getting less segregated, and according to a recent national survey, most Americans value the country's racial diversity. But the demographic integration of a neighborhood doesn't necessarily mean that neighbors of different races are socializing together. Diverse urban areas remain socially segregated in part because white gentrifiers and longtime residents have differing economic interests, and the racial hierarchies of the United States are simply not erased when black people and white people share the same neighborhoods. White residents of multicultural areas tend to overlook inequality in their neighborhoods, studies show. That further reinforces racial barriers. There's sociological research in one such multicultural neighborhood that identifies the more surprising vehicle of racial segregation: dogs. This particular scientist spent 18 months studying Creek Ridge Park, a diverse and mixed income area of Durham, North Carolina, to understand how black, white, and Latino residents interacted with each other between 2009 and 2011. The scientist interviewed 63 residents, attended neighborhood events, and conducted household surveys. They learned that white, black, and Latino residents led separate social lives in Creek Park. 86% of white people said their closest friends were white, and 70% of black residents surveyed reported that their best friends were black. One black resident lamented that neighbors weren't as, quote, as friendly as I had hoped or thought that they would be, or at least this image I had in my head of what friendly would look like. White, black, and Latino people in Creek Ridge Park even had different experiences with something as seemingly innocuous as pet ownership. Many white residents describe friendships growing as a result of walking their dogs around the neighborhood, with chance encounters on the sidewalk turning into baseball games, them going out to dinner, and even vacationing together. Do you hear this? The white people that have a dog will interact with another white person that has a dog, and they'll end up going to baseball games and going to dinner and going to vacation together. That's freakish to me. If anything, wouldn't you have like another human being in common where you would want to go out to dinner with that person, go to a sporting event with that person, go on vacation with that person? Dogs bring them together. Black people, black people that own dogs, you ever met a white person that owned a dog and then like you didn't know them? Like let's say you're walking your dog. I don't know, your dog is walking you, or the white person is walking their dog. As an African-American person, have you ever gone up to that white person and approached them because of their dog and pet their dog and then asked them to go on vacation with you? Oh my God, you have a golden retriever, so do I. You want to go to Cancun tomorrow? Such positive interactions did not necessarily happen across racial boundaries. More often, this scientist found, dogs reinforce racial boundaries. When Jerry, a black homeowner in his 60s, stopped to chat with some dog-owning customers who were white in the outdoor seating area of a neighborhood bakery, the staff asked him to leave. Quote, I own some dogs like that one in particular. I own some dogs like that at one particular time, and I was just speaking to them. All of a sudden, I'm a panhandler, Jerry said. Incredulous and hurt, Jerry is a black disabled veteran who was wearing his old Army uniform that day. He figures they thought he was begging for money. The dogs didn't create the interracial boundaries at the bakery, which catered to a primarily white middle-class clientele. In fact, the dogs presented an avenue to connect black and white neighbors, but they gave bakery staff a reason to intervene to maintain racial boundaries. The treatment of dogs in Creek Ridge Park also divided neighbors of different races. Tammy, the same resident who said dogs served as, quote, connectors in the neighborhood, disliked her Latino neighbors wouldn't let their dog in the house, leaving her tied up in the backyard. One day when she heard the neighbor's dog barking, she decided to monitor their backyard with binoculars to make sure the dog was okay. When the father spotted her doing surveillance, Tammy lied and said she was looking at a different dog. Oh, my goodness, do I have a dog story for y'all. So I'm going to take a break, come back. Winky Blue has a question for me. God knows what this is going to be. We're going to continue our conversation about pet ownership and the deep racial boundaries that exist. Even when black people own pets and white people own pets, there's still racial segregation. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is 1017 The Truth's Melanie Ricks, and the time is now, Milwaukee. I believe that our listeners deserve the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And that's exactly what we're going to bring to you every day from 12 to 1 p.m. We're going to be talking about life, love, relationships, sports, pop culture, and all things Milwaukee. Listen to Nothing But the Truth with me, Melanie Ricks, every day from noon to 1 p.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
What's your emergency? There's a woman laying on the ground in front of a car.
You're married 23 years, and the police say, we're here to arrest your husband for the murder of his fiancée, scheduled to be married to her in 3 days. Did you ever suspect anything during that time?
I didn't. He was home every night.
He will maintain his innocence until they carry him out in a box. New Dr. Phil.
Hi, I'm Natalie Shepard.
And I'm Jessa Brycebeck from the CBS 58 News at 10.
We hear it all the time from viewers. Television news is too negative.
That's why we're trying something different at CBS 58. In our newscasts, we focus on what's important to Southeast Wisconsin, and that's not necessarily crime.
We want you to know the great things happening in our hometowns as well.
What's going to help solve problems here and uplift our viewers.
We are your hometown station, and that's the type of news we're going to bring to you.
Join us every night at 10 on the CBS 58 News.
Home practice is about to begin. Your daughter's new tap shoes? Loud. Your son's new tuba? Louder. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft grace zone. So if you lose track of expenses buying some noise-canceling and sanity-saving headphones, we've got your back. You got this with $50 overdraft grace zone from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Who are we? We are the ones who learn to do what we love. We're the ones who want to work, who want to learn from firsthand experience, to earn an income, who don't need to spend 4 years in lecture halls. We're the healthcare, construction and utility workers, manufacturers, agriculturists, and service and IT professionals. We are Wisconsin Apprentices. Learn more at wisconsinapprenticeship.org. Brought to you by the Department of Workforce Development.
All Brewers games are on sale now. Next up, the Crew battles the Royals for a weekend duel. Friday, May 12th through Sunday, the 14th. Fulfill your Jedi destiny at Star Wars Night on Saturday, the 13th, and receive a Luke Skywalker bobblehead with purchase of a special ticket package. Plus, take home a one-of-a-kind Brewers wristlet for 10,000 moms on Mother's Day. Sunday, May 14th. Presented by American Family Insurance. Get your seats today at brewers.com/promotions.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Dreams of you, dreams of you.
All right, Winky. What's your question?
Yeah. My question is, am I on the air or no?
You're on the air.
Okay, my question was, first of all, I'd like to make a comment about the dogs deal. Is that okay?
Well, that's the topic we're on. I hope that's what your question is about.
Right, that's the topic. Right, that's the topic. I'm appalled that my call was screened. I mean, I try to keep it as topic as I can. However,
all the calls are screened, and do not get appalled by that. If you call any other radio station, they're going to screen you even harder. In fact, most of them wouldn't even let you through.
Well, I don't know. Dan O'Donnell wanted me to come to him, so I don't know if that's true. But anyway, listen to this. Check this out. I want you to listen to this real well. My buddy has a dog, UKC dog, champion bred Cocker Spaniel, and he's normally the people that he deal with would never even take the time to fool with him, but he hit all the dog parks, and he got a Cocker Spaniel. Okay, and that Cocker Spaniel, man, is a champion Cocker Spaniel. They bring all the love to him. He hit all the dog parks, and it's just good game. It's just mature. It's just an outside the box. It's just an outside the box. I don't know the word I'm going to use, but it's definitely a great catch, especially the people that are drawn to that dog. Me, myself, I don't like dogs. You have to clean up after them for their whole life. They never become independent.
So wait, he has a Cocker Spaniel, and you're saying he gets a lot of attention. That's why he goes to all the dog parks, because people give him and the dog a lot of attention. Does he use the dog to pick up women?
All the time.
Oldest trick in the book, Meech. Oldest trick in the book.
I can't hear you.
I said that's the oldest trick in the book.
Well, I don't know. They didn't have dog parks when I was coming up, so it can't be that old. And to be totally honest, with the stuff that we did to animals back in the day, we would probably have cases. We would just let our dog outside the house, and he'd come back at night. Or sometimes he'd be at the Humane Society. We had to go bail him out of jail. So, no, it's not the oldest dog. It's not the oldest trick in the
Meech, you're unfamiliar with men getting little cute little dogs and then women just being drawn to those dogs? You've never seen men use dogs? Even before there were dog parks, men have used dogs to get women as far back as time. As far back as I can remember.
Yeah, well, I'm talking, okay, well, you're talking about once they come to your house and all that.
No, brother. I seen dudes down at the lakefront walking their little toy miniature poodles, and girls just, oh my God, can I pet your dog? And next thing you know, she getting petted.
Well, can I say something?
Yes, you can.
That's a good game. I mean, he got a good game hand. I can't be mad at him about that. And now I have a question for the host.
Yes.
If ally, because I hear you talking about whites and blacks all the time. If you had to choose an ally, outside of our race,
Uh-huh.
which ally would you choose? Would
Money.
You which ally?
Money.
Huh?
Money.
No, I'm talking about far as a ethnic group, a racial ethnic line, ethical racial divide we have. Which ally would you choose on either side? Black, white, Latino.
So
Native
an
American?
ally for what? Like, what do I need them for? Do I need them to, what am I allied with them for?
Well, maybe ally in war, maybe an ally just to be a companion in a time of need. Which ally would you choose? I'm just curious.
Whoever is
you
most.
answering it like a
So here's the thing: it's not. I can't just choose an ally based on their race. They have to be about something. They got to be of stout character. They have to be intelligent. Because I could say, oh, I want a black ally, but a black ally could sell me out. Or I could say, I want a white ally. The white ally might be a civil rights attorney, might be, have influence over the police and the judicial system. So it depends on what that person offers and who they are. That determines the allyship.
And I accept that. I mean, that you answered it like a politician. However, I want to ask this here question. Which person has shown themselves to be a greater ally in this country to the black man?
Money.
See, there you go.
No, I mean that's I can't say people because people span the entire gamut of good, bad, indifferent, toxic. Some people are traitors. Some people are backstabbers. Money allows you the freedom and flexibility to create your own reality. You can have your own house. You can have your own land. You can have your own lifestyle. You can move away from folks or you can move right into folks' neighborhood. Money is the best. In a capitalist society, money rules.
Well,
who would your ally be? I'm curious. Who is your ally? Because I think you would just base your allyship on just arbitrary things.
The only ally that I've seen work closely with the black American is that white man. Okay, now you can call me Uncle. Well, hold on.
I'm not calling you nothing. I'm listening at you.
Hold on. The only ally that the white man got is the Negro. Okay, the black man in America, and he know that. Okay, he know that. The only ally he got is that black man in America. For some reason, we do whatever we can and even go out our way to comfort him. He will not go out of his way to comfort us, but you know what? He understands the side that his bread is buttered on. The black man, the other people that come into this country, now there is a group that is bucking to fulfill our position. And
it's the Hispanics, I know. But are you saying allyship? Because what you're describing is like predator and prey, slave and master.
No. See, you going there?
No, I'm just saying, like you're saying that our only ally is the white folks.
Who taught you how to read? Well, let me say this: who taught you how to read English?
My mother.
A white man or a black man?
My mother.
Okay, I'm talking about the black man in America. See, this is the game we got to quit playing, man, because I'm
answering questions that you were not like ready to hear. I think you're trying to lead me, and I'm answering my questions based on my reality. I knew how to read before I started school. My mother made sure of that. My mother read to me every single night till I was like 10 years old. Like reading was something that she taught me. But I know what you're trying to say. Oh, the white folks have taught us everything. They taught us English. They taught us this. They taught us that.
I didn't say that, brother. I'm not saying that because we taught them.
Did you not just say that our best ally is the white man?
No. Yes, I did.
He also controls our lives.
I said the only ally you got. Hold on. The only ally you got is the black. Hey, look, we didn't even have the Native American, man. They really wasn't an ally. They fought to keep us in slavery with the Civil War. They didn't because they had slaves. The African, the Native American, the Indian, he didn't really want to give us no freedom, brother. Go look that up. So, and that's not something you just Google. That's something you learn, man, in social studies.
You know that there were different tribes, right? You know that there were some tribes that actually harbored us. You ever hear black folks say sometimes they have Indian in their family? They're not talking about East Indian. They're talking about Native American. Sometimes we didn't make it all the way north of the Mason. Hold on, I'm trying to school you on history, man. Sometimes we didn't always make it north of the Mason-Dixon line. We would stop on Native American reservations, and because that's sovereign land, the white slave catchers had no authority to take us away from Native American reservations. So some of them actually hid and harbored us. Yes, of course, some fought with the Confederates in the Civil War, but then there were others that protected us. And on that note, I gotta go. I have to go. I can't talk to him all day. What was that? Like, what? Did y'all hear that? That he thinks that the white man is hard? He also is a Trump supporter. And he would not be upset at me telling you guys that. Like, he is an unabashed Trump supporter. He loves Donald Trump. He will vote for Trump again. He very well may work for the Trump campaign. So Winky Blue Meech is a Trump person. So now it makes a lot more sense why he selected who he selected as our ally. I think ultimately at the end of the day, a black person's, the black community, the black family's best ally really is intelligence. Second place, money. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, spring has sprung and we're doing some spring cleaning. We've already cleaned up our lineup with brand new shows, but now it's time to clean up our Instagram. We've created a brand new Instagram page that we would love for you all to follow to stay updated on all things truth. We'll be posting exclusive content, behind the scenes footage of our team, along with different things going on in the community that you should know about. We're taking out the old and bringing in the new for a fresh start, and we want to bring you with us to this new beginning. So follow us on the gram at 101.7 The Truth today.
Milwaukee Black Talk.
I firmly believe that some of these fatal shootings would not be fatal shootings if we had more black paramedics and EMTs. Now, I ain't got no proof, I ain't got no evidence, but I firmly believe. But if an EMT or a paramedic, a white one from the suburbs that's on their fifth response to a shooting victim, I think they're letting some of us die. I'm serious. I think, oh, he's flatlined, still got a pulse. Oh, yeah, there's nothing we can do for him.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes every weekday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Pollution from trucks is a public health crisis. Diesel-burning trucks belch dangerous levels of pollution, and communities living near ports and along freight corridors breathe especially high levels of this dirty air. But this crisis has a solution. My name is Sasan Sadat, and I work for Earth Justice. I'm working to clean up our air quality, particularly for communities that bear the burden of diesel pollution. For the sake of our lungs, our health, and our climate, the future of trucking in this country has got to be zero emissions. Until then, I will never rest.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Earth Justice is fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. If clean air matters to you, visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org.
Join the livest radio show in Milwaukee, Nothing But the Truth with Melanie Ricks. Listen every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We're talking about racial differences in pet ownership, dog ownership, cat ownership. Now, there is some blurring of the lines racially when we talk about generations. Millennials are much more likely, millennials of any race are much more likely to own pets than, say, Generation X and baby boomers, where you really see profound racial differences. And there's a particular story that aired, or I guess it ran, didn't air, in U.S. News, usnews.com, talking about a social scientist who did a study of a particular town, Creek Ridge Park in North Carolina. So Creek Ridge Park is an economically and racially diverse neighborhood. It's a suburb of Raleigh-Durham. And he did this study and looked at pet ownership and how amongst whites, pet ownership encouraged a sense of community, but did not encourage the same sense of community when the pet owner was a person of color. The treatment of dogs in Creek Ridge Park also divided neighbors of different races. Tammy, the same resident who said dogs served as, quote, connectors in the neighborhood, disliked that her Latino neighbors wouldn't let their dog into the house, leaving her tied up in the backyard. One day when she heard her neighbor's dog barking, she decided to monitor their backyard with binoculars to make sure the dog was okay. When the father spotted her doing surveillance, Tammy lied. She said she was looking at a different dog. Tammy was not, however, embarrassed when recounting this story. She felt she was justified in considering the dog's well-being. She offered the family a bigger doghouse and began to take the dog on hour-long walks twice a day. Eventually, she adopted their dog as her own. Tammy said that she always intervened whenever she saw dogs mistreated in the neighborhood. However, the only examples she shared during the interview involved Latino families. Latino families are not the only Creek Ridge Park residents who tied up their dogs. The practice is common enough across Durham that a local group was formed in 2007 to build free dog fences. So what's the issue with that? Because dogs are outside animals. Dogs don't live in houses. Like, there's wild dogs, right? There's dogs in the wild. Wild dogs. I think in Australia they call them dingoes. They live outside. Why can't you tie the damn dog up? Without giving up too much specific and identifying information. So I've lived in my house for a very long time. I'm one of the longest more long-term residents on my particular block. And so I've always had issues with the house next to mine. Always, because it's been rented and it's empty for a whole bunch of years and they're just a magnet for a whole bunch of unsavory activity. And so it was purchased in the spring of 2020 by what I thought were going to be decent homeowners, seemed like solid people to me. So they have a very large dog, an English Mastiff, big female, probably 130, 140 pounds, a very big dog. And so here's the thing. I live in a majority black neighborhood. So when I moved into my neighborhood, it was mixed, but within 2 or 3 years, the remaining white people, except for one family, all moved out, replaced by African Americans. There's an Asian family down the street, and there's an East Indian family about 3 doors down from me, but it's black. It's a black neighborhood, right? They are not black, but I don't want to identify their race because I don't want it to be too obvious who I'm speaking about. And it's all women that live in this house, okay? And they have this very large 140 pound, 130 pound English Mastiff that they let roam around off leash. And it only can be because there are women that live in this house to like intimidate people so that they don't get bothered, so their house doesn't get broken into. That's the only reason I can think of. But see, here's the problem with this dog. Every time somebody came to my house, the dog would run into my yard and chase them. The dog would chase the mailman. The dog would chase Amazon drivers. But here's the part that got me to the point where I had to get law enforcement involved. They let the dog just roam off leash, and they're one of those doggos. Oh, they're just playing. The dog's not going to bite you. If someone does not know your dog, you as an owner can't assure somebody of your dog's behavior. I know that it's your dog. I know that you love your dog very much. We all understand that, but it's still a damn animal. Okay. And so here's what the dog would do. It would urinate in my yard. Whenever it wanted to, they'd let the dog out and it would just come right. Here's the thing. It didn't even urinate. It was weird. It went number 2 in the backyard, but it urinated in my yard. And so I've got patches of dead grass all over my yard. Yellow patches from the neighbor's dog. Now, I saw a couple in the front yard, but then on the side of my house that's closest to their house, all of my grass was dead. And so before I approached the neighbor, because I know myself real well, and I would make mention, I would say, like, yeah, you know, your dog needs to be on a leash, and they'd say something pacifying, like, oh, they're fine. My dog is friendly. This dog has got a menacing bark, and it literally chases people. And I don't know, because these people are not of our race and our culture. And here's what I fear. I fear that dog would chase somebody into the street and it would get hit. Or, because I know several of my neighbors that just don't play that. Now, my neighbors that, quote unquote, don't play that, they live on the other side of the street. I know 2 of my neighbors that would shoot that dog in a second. In fact, one of them would snipe that dog from the window. So I'm really concerned about that, because if your dog runs onto somebody else's property, and especially if you got kids, you're well within your right to protect yourself and your children from an off-leash 140-pound dog. But this woman didn't seem to understand this. Let me tell you what Sherwin did before I really had to confront her. Oh, we got into it. Now, when we got into it, she straightened up because I was real tolerant. So my grass is dead. And I'm thinking, like, what do I do? Do I, like, go get an estimate to get my yard resodded and then give her the estimate? Do I take this woman to court? So, you know, coffee grounds helps to regrow grass. And I make coffee every day. So what I did is all the patches of yellow grass where her dog urinated in my yard, I put coffee grounds down. Okay. So I took up, all my coffee grounds and put them out there one morning. I get a knock on my door that evening. I put the coffee grounds out that morning. I got a knock on my door that evening. It's a Milwaukee police officer. I'm like, this is going to be good. So I open the door and they're like, oh, do you live here? And I was like, can I help you? And they who lives here? Do you live here? I said, can I help you? And here's what the cop said to me. Your neighbors called and said that you tried to poison their dog. I'm like, you should have seen the look on my damn face. I said, say it again. What'd you say? The neighbors called. Did you try to kill your neighbor's dog? So I know I shouldn't have said this, but this is what I said. I said, it was a woman cop. I was like, with all due respect, officer, if I wanted to kill my neighbor's dog, the dog would have been dead a long time ago. And then the cop says, well, you put coffee grounds in your yard. This is the kicker. You put coffee grounds in your yard, and apparently coffee grounds are poisonous to dogs. And I said to the cop, I said, you repeat that again. I put coffee grounds in my yard. It's my yard. It's my property. And their dog came into my property and killed my grass. Look and see all those yellow patches. That's from their dog. So if I want to put coffee grounds without the intention of killing their dog to regrow my grass, they're going to call the police on me because I put coffee grounds in my own yard. I slammed the door on that damn cop's face. So after that, and this, you got to keep this in mind, this is after George Floyd. And my neighbors are not black. You going to call the police on me because I put coffee grounds in my yard to regrow grass that your dog killed? Now I'm hot. Now I'm mad. So I think it may have been the next day. And while I cannot recall the specifics of what I said to my neighbor, I just explained to her in a very professional but pointed way that the behavior is unacceptable and that I was going to escalate actions, including getting law enforcement involved if their dog was seen on my property again and off leash. I promise to God, the very next day, the dog is roaming around in my yard with the coffee grounds down there and everything. So I called the police. Let me tell you what's crazy. If you call the Milwaukee Police Department and you say that there is a 140-pound English Mastiff roaming off leash, they came faster. A squad showed up faster than when I reported a shooting. I'm not playing. Apparently the police take that very, very seriously. And so I saw the police come. And what's crazy is because they saw the squad car coming, they knew to put the damn dog in the house. Because if they would have caught that dog off leash, if that dog would have ran toward those police, they would have shot the dog. Because cops is not going to play with your dogs. I need y'all to know that if you have a dog off leash and that dog starts running toward the police, they're going to shoot your dog. And there's nothing you can do about that. So they see the squad pull up and they took the dog in the house. And then I saw the interaction. I couldn't hear them now, but I saw the interaction between the two officers and the woman who owned the dog. And I could tell by her body language, like she was getting mad, like getting defensive, like, how dare you come here and tell me I can't keep my damn dog off the leash? Well, I know this much. If there's a certain number of neighbors that complain, then the dog owner can get fined and the fines escalate, not to mention the liability that the owner is responsible for if that dog happens to hurt somebody. Let's talk to Eastside Corey. You're on the new 101.7
Oh my
The Truth.
goodness. Whoa, what a story. Holy mackerel. Oh. How you doing, Sherwin?
I'm good. Let's put it this way. They keep the dog on the leash now. I ain't had no problems
That's
out of them
good.
since.
You know, a dog's going to be a dog, but the neighbors got to be better neighbors. I hate the casualness in which they thought they could deal with this certain black man who talks on the radio every day. What were they thinking?
Well, what I told her, and this is what got her, I said to this woman, you're just a bad dog owner. It's not your dog's fault. You do not know how to properly take care of that dog. That dog is not trained, and that dog is going to end up getting hurt or worse because you are a bad pet owner. She almost started crying when she said, I'm not a bad pet owner. And then once I realized that I got her by calling her a bad pet owner,
Yeah,
then
you
I
did.
doubled down on it. I was like, oh, you're the worst pet owner I've ever seen. You should be ashamed of yourself. She's like, oh, and she ran in the house.
Oh, Sherwin. Oh, Sherwin, you're going to go to the pearly gates. You're going to have to explain that one.
You can't try to intimidate people in my neighborhood because you feel afraid that you moved into a neighborhood full of black people, so you're going to let your big dog just roam around off leash. That is disgusting. It's disrespectful, and she needed to hear what I told her.
She pulled a Karen on you, okay?
She showed
you pulled the black card on her, okay? The black intelligent man who's on the radio, okay? Listen, what I was going to call about, it was two things. I listened to the trial rerun, and that was brilliant radio last Friday. Absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
And you have a law degree? Because you sure were in order. You should be a judge. I know you got to be a lawyer to be a judge. But
You do not
man,
want to
you
see
ever
me in a courtroom, Eastside Court.
Oh,
It would
no.
be a whole mess.
You're fabulous. But the other point I wanted to make is that I like Winky Blue. I appreciate old school rhetoric and rules. You still there?
I'm
You
here.
still hear me?
I'm here.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Somebody's trying to call me. But sometimes he's setting up the conversation to go in the same place it's always going to go, and it's the bizarro land. I'm like, Winky, it's like you're being very kind and timid, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, can you get to the whatever point it is you want to make, because it's going to be bizarre. But he doesn't think it's bizarre. But then he thinks that your response to him is bizarre after he says something weird. You were talking about relationships with animals, and then he wants to talk about relationships for allies with other human beings. It's like, well, maybe you should get a dog first and learn how to be a better human being that way.
Yeah, he's got weird ideas, and he wants validation for his ideas. Like when he asks me stuff, there's an answer that he wants me to say because that's the answer that matches what he thinks, and it never happens with me and him. We always disagree.
You know, it's the same game.
Did we lose you? Corey. What, is that us or him? Well, we lost him. Well, I got to take a break anyway. So, Eastside Corey, if you got more to say, call us back, but we lost you. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
This is 1017 The Truth's Sherwin Hughes, and I am Milwaukee. This show has meant so much to me because it's an opportunity for me to express my thoughts and my feelings to my community, and for my community to express those same thoughts and feelings right back to me. Milwaukee means a lot to me. I was born here, raised here, educated here, and I'm committed to making this a better city. Join the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations where you can speak your truth. We are the new 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee, Black Talk.
Truth Nation, just press play. Your favorite award-winning 1017 The Truth shows are now streaming live on video. Watch us live on 1017 The Truth's Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and of course, 1017thetruth.com. Just press play for the home of Milwaukee Black Talk, 1017 The Truth.
It's your boy, Tory Lowe from The Tory Lowe Show. Tap in for that action. Listen to The Truth all day, every day by downloading the Truth app or stream on Spotify, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Stitcher. Milwaukee Black Talk, 1017 The Truth.
911, what's your emergency? There's a woman laying on the ground in front of a car.
You're married 23 years, and the police say, we're here to arrest your husband for the murder of his fiancée, scheduled to be married to her in 3 days. Did you ever suspect anything during that time?
I didn't. He was home every night.
He will maintain his innocence until they carry him out in a box. New Dr. Phil.
Hi, I'm Natalie Shepard.
And I'm Jessup Reisbeck from the CBS 58 News at 10.
We hear it all the time from viewers. Television news is too negative.
That's why we're trying something different at CBS 58. In our newscasts, we focus on what's important to Southeast Wisconsin, and that's not necessarily crime.
We want you to know the great things happening in our hometowns as well.
What's going to help solve problems here and uplift our viewers?
We are your hometown station, and that's the type of news we're going to bring to you.
Join us every night at 10 on the CBS 58 News.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious crash? It's free. Yes, free. As in it won't cost you anything to speak with us. Not sure if you have a case? Call our team at Gruber Law Offices today. Your first call and your first consultation are always free. And you'll never pay us a fee until we win your case. If you've been seriously injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Fred, why choose Erie Insurance? The passion that we put around your personal development and your growth. We pay for you to go to college. Wait. What? Yes, we will help pay for you to go to college. So you get your foot in the door with us, we will help advance your career. Okay. We will help you get the designations, like I mentioned. It's even easier now. I'm doing it from the outset with our diverse communities to help them get these designations and licenses before you even show up inside the doors of Erie Insurance.
Visit erieinsurance.com for more information.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome back, 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. There's so many text messages. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to read them. But first, let's talk to Al from Sherman Park. You're on the new 1017 The Truth. How are you?
I am doing well, Sherwin. I lived in my house for, it'll be 24 years this year, and the dog off the leash thing drives me crazy, particularly the pit bulls. So you got to nip that in the bud. The first time you see that, you give them a warning. I keep a pamphlet in my house that I give to the owner when I see their dog running loose. And I tell them the requirements. Then after that, they keep running loose. Then it starts escalating. I didn't know you could call the police because I thought they didn't respond. So I would always call the neighborhood services or animal control. The neighborhood services, they start making you come out and have a fence, inspect your property. And, you know, when they come out to inspect your property, they don't inspect just one thing. They inspect your whole house. So then you start getting in a world of hurt. But I can't understand this whole thing about having your dog off the leash because I see it so much in our neighborhood, and I don't know why we don't like to follow rules. Or is that nobody can tell me anything? And usually do people, I guess I should phrase this from my friend, do people with the larger dogs really have the personality to intimidate others?
No, I don't think so. That's why they have the dog, especially in black neighborhoods, because so few of us are dog owners. While there are plenty of black dog owners compared to other races, we own the fewest dogs. And so when African Americans have dogs, especially big dogs, it is intimidating. And a lot of our dogs are trained to be, guard dogs. They are trained to bite and protect their owners. And so I think people use that as a way to intimidate folks, which is not going to end well for the dog owner. Because there are certain circumstances where they can take your dog away from you. Now, the hoops you got to jump through are kind of a headache. So what I would have to do is I'd have to get 5 other neighbors, or 4 other neighbors, had to be 5 of us total, to sign a petition. Then the dog owner goes to court. And if we all show up in court to testify, they potentially can lose their dog. And you know what happens when they lose their dog? Goes to the big dog house in the sky. Goes to grandma and grandpa's farm up north.
I had an officer tell me, though, they can also handle it through nuisance complaints, that if you get so many nuisance complaints against you, they can act as well. But I had a neighbor I used to see out here. Now, I don't like the dog poop in my yard. That's the thing that drives me crazy.
Oh, I got a story, but I shouldn't even tell that story on air because I might get myself in trouble. But yeah, so I came home one night and I smelled it, you see, and then I seen it the next day during the daylight. I was like, oh, okay. Now, I didn't see their dog drop the poop in my yard, but I suspected. Let's just put it this way. The poop was delivered back to where it came from. I had to deliver. I had to deliver it.
Oh, man. Yeah. You do put your dog in danger, because I know a particular neighbor of mine that works in the medical profession, and they see a pit bull running around, and they carry when they walk, and they told me that dog come over here, it's a goner.
Yep.
And the other thing, I had a family friend. And this was years ago, and the dog was in their own yard, but the neighbor just didn't like dogs. I guess he didn't like the dog coming up to the fence, so he threw, what do you call that, a steak soaked in antifreeze. That dog was gone.
Well, you can't do that's illegal. That's a felony. You go to prison for that. You can't kill the damn dog.
Yeah. People ain't playing. This lady, she used to walk her dog every day. It was a little foo-foo dog. And I was like, well, do these people think that they have voice control over their dogs? One day I was sitting here working in my dining room. I heard, ah! Next thing I see, this big old fat lady running down the street carrying her dog. Hold on, baby. Hold on, baby. Mm-hmm. See, keep your dog on a leash and it won't be dead. I was going to say that racial component thing, and this is behind the scenes. You may not know this, but when a Latino person registers in healthcare, they get registered as Caucasian. Latino is an ethnicity unless they tell us that they're African, black African.
Well, it's a little bit more nuanced than that, though, Al. So it's Latino it's a category where you can say you're Latino white or Latino black or Latino non-white Latino or white Latino. So it isn't just we used to just register them as white until it started inflating the number of white people in prison. Then they created a special designation for the Latinos. But we used to count them as white folks, but not anymore.
I'm telling you, when you come into the medical field and I register you, even as close as last week, if you state to me you're Latino, that goes under ethnicity. Your race is Caucasian, unless you tell me that you're black.
Wait a second. You work in the medical field currently, and that's what y'all do?
Yep.
Well, you're messing up the demographics. Now I need somebody else to call from the medical field to say, not that I don't believe you, but that is going to mess up statistics because people that are obviously Latino, and it is a racial classification. Hell, it's on the census. But in the medical field, if we are counting them as white people should be alarmed by that because there might be certain ailments that Latinos have that white people do not have, but it's going to be included in overall white medical statistics. Huh, interesting.
Latino is a culture. It's not a race. It's a common language.
They're not white, though. White suggests Western European ancestry. And if you're from Guatemala, you ain't Western. You're about as white as I am.
Well, you can tell me you're Native American. I can register for that, too.
No, I'm confused. All right.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you, Al. All right. From one Al to another Al. Welcome back, Al. This is the first week, your first full week of you being back with us here on 101.7 The Truth. Good morning, and how are you?
I'm doing great. What I wanted to tell you that a lot of Latinos, they don't like classifying with blacks. So a lot of times they put down white because they feel they got the skin color.
It's a white woman walking around the 3rd Street Market Hall with a dog. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Rhea, did you see the white lady? Oh, please come back. I need a picture. I'm sorry, Al. It was just a white lady that's walking around here with a Siberian husky, just walking around the damn food hall.
Well, see, a lot of times, I'm gonna say this real quick. A lot of times the Latinos want to identify as white because they got the skin color and hair. Because if they identify as black, they feel they be put in the same categories and they can't get the same benefits.
But some of them as black as us.
That's true too, but some of them don't get the hair. Some of them still get the dark and the crinkly hair. Not saying that's not beautiful, but it's always beautiful when it gets to after 9 p.m. where they be trying to come for booger sugar and stimulation. But what I was going to say when it comes to the dogs, that there is a leash law. And a lot of people do not know that if that dog do bite somebody, you can go after all their properties, all their financial gain, because I have a pit bull myself, and I have a Dachshund, and actually, to be honest, my Dachshund will bite you before the pit bull.
I believe it.
But I have insurance on my dog. I never let my dog off the leash, and a lot of people who have these dogs do not train them. So that's why it's such an issue. And even if you are white, your dog should be on a leash. But what I will tell you is if a person have a dog and that dog bites you, you go for everything they got. And if they try to hide their money and you go down to the courthouse, ask for a financial disclosure, which means they have to tell the judge where they took their money. And if they don't have no money, go for all their assets, because you got to be compensated for all your pain and agony due to them not training their dog, because every person who got a dog do not train them. And telling your dog how to sit and go to the room and potty is not training. Thank you and happy Monday.
Thank you, Al. You see how pleasant that call was? I mean, he did say booger sugar, but that's totally fine. That's fine. So I don't want to mention any names here, but a regular listener of 101.7 The Truth recently had to have their dog put to sleep because it bit and did like major damage to a letter carrier. And here's what's interesting about this person, because they would always laugh and brag about how their dog was so ferocious and how protective their dog was. Now their dog is dead because of it. Like, it's not funny to try and intimidate people with your dogs. To me, in some cases, if that is your sole intention, to intimidate people with your dog, that's the same to me as brandishing a firearm. You brandish a firearm, you are going to naturally intimidate people. And if you're doing it on purpose and maliciously, then you deserve everything you have coming to you. You got to be a responsible dog owner. You really have to, because dogs can hurt people, and you're going to be financially responsible for any damage that dog causes. And what's crazy is, so he was all hurt, so he had to put his dog to sleep, and he got sued for God knows how much money, but had the nerve to be sad in a social media post, but would always brag, nobody messes with us. Ha ha ha. I'm out here with my big fella. Everybody leaves us alone. Now your dog is dead, so that's not cool to have a dead dog. All right, Mike from Mill Road says, Hugh, the whites know they love a good rescue dog. So true. Lion says, when you can get a black man to go on international television and say there is no racism in America, that is very dangerous, man. Tim Scott is a very dangerous man. We need to shut him down. Race Trader, he is officially announcing his run for the presidency on May 22nd. So I think he gave a press conference today where he's going to make the formal announcement on May 22nd. He has started an exploratory committee, so this is the first step where people see what the prospect of them running for president is. They meet with donors, they meet with other organizations that may support them. They try and line folks and line groups up behind them during the exploratory phase. And a lot of presidential campaigns don't get out of the exploratory phase, but obviously Tim Scott did. And so I had said this some time ago, the worst thing for this country is if Donald Trump, who I think will be the Republican nominee, selects Tim Scott to be his running mate. That would be the worst possible thing, because remember, Joe Biden only won by 80,000 votes under a very peculiar set of American circumstances. We had the pandemic going on. We had the major fights for racial justice going on. And Donald Trump, who was twice impeached and had a whole bunch of other legal things going on, made it much more difficult for voters who embraced Trump in 2016 to embrace him again in 2020. Well, some of the stuff that really helped Joe Biden look like a more attractive candidate are gone now. And if we have African Americans who don't believe in the Democratic Party, or they don't have a lot of political loyalty, some folks still have this, I don't know what it is, this sentiment toward Trump to where, well, he's not that bad, and, you know, he's a tough guy, and, you know, black unemployment did fall when Trump was president. And if Trump adds an African-American man to the ticket, I think the 80,000 votes that Joe Biden won by in 2020 could be peeled off if Trump picks Tim Scott in 2024. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on the new 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're back at the gym. Your new gym outfit? On point. Your new sneakers? Baller. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee-free with no minimum balance requirements. So when you take your first yoga class in 10 months, your body might surprise you, but your checking account won't. You've got this with Access Checking from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Reaching out for support is an important step that takes courage. At Ascension, Wisconsin, our mental health professionals are committed to delivering compassionate support and care at every step through personalized substance use disorder programs. Ready for recovery? We're here to listen and offer compassionate support. Start your recovery with our team by your side. Call 855-830-WELL, which is 855-830-9355.
It's time to see what's poppin' with Melanie Ricks.
What's up, everybody? It's Melanie Ricks, and it's time to see what's poppin' with today's Pop Culture Report. What's really good, y'all? I hope everybody is having a wonderful week. I'm going to tell you somebody who isn't having the best week, or should I say the best month. U.S. long jumper Tara Davis Woodhall, because she was stripped of her national title after testing positive for cannabis. So, according to AP News, Davis Woodhall was stripped of her indoor national title after she tested positive for cannabis, and she was also suspended for a month as a result. Tara tested positive for the substance after winning the long jump title with a 6.99 meter jump at the Indoor National Championships in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Her suspension began on March 21st and was shortened after she completed a substance abuse program. Although she completed the program, the USADA still disqualified her from all competitive results obtained on and subsequent to February 17, 2023, including forfeiture of any medals, points, and prizes. Now, there is no doubt if something is illegal, if something is banned, you simply shouldn't do it, point blank, period. My only question is, do we still feel that cannabis should be banned when it comes to sports in general? Now, if you didn't hear, it was actually announced just earlier this month that the NBA reached a tentative deal with the National Basketball Players Association for the 23-24 season, which includes a stipulation that the league will no longer test players for marijuana use. Do you feel like that should be a worldwide thing for all sports? A lot of people are saying that cannabis isn't going to affect or boost her performance in any way, and so it shouldn't matter. But do you agree? And that's what's poppin'.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
All right, let's go to line one and talk to Beatty. Is that who? Beatty B? Beatty.
Yes, good morning to you. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, and thank you for taking my call. First of all, I do want to say I was so freaking happy to hear Al's voice. I love Al. But anyway, Sharon, this is what I was calling about when you all were talking about those dogs. I was so shocked yesterday. I was in TJ Maxx over there off of 124th by Burleigh or something like that.
Uh-huh.
It was folks in there walking around with dogs. One woman had a big old pit bull, a female, big old pit bull, and the other one, she had a big old, I don't know what that thing was she had, but hers jumped at somebody. And, I mean, they was walking around, and I don't think these were service dogs, because normally if you got a service dog, you can do that, right? Walk around the stores or whatever.
That's correct. But that dog, a service dog, has got to have a special designation. You need to have papers to prove that it's an actual service dog. But now they have these things where you can have an emotional support pet, any kind of pet. It could be a damn turtle. And all you got to do is fill out some online paperwork and send in some money, and they give you a little vest that you put on your little turtle or your rabbit or your gerbil.
You know what? I don't think that. Now, this is my own person. I mean, just me. I don't think that shouldn't be cool for somebody to walk around a shopping store or something like that where some people have their children. And I mean, the one lady, her dog jumped at somebody, and me and the little young man that was at the register. Matter of fact, I almost jumped over the counter with him. But, man, that thing jumped at somebody, and I'm like, dang, wonder if that dog would have bit that person. Would the store have been responsible, or would the person that had that dog, they would have been responsible?
You know what? I bet you there would have been liability for everybody, because TJ Maxx should not allow, unless it's a legitimate service animal, then I guess that's different. But if it's just somebody bringing their pet or an emotional support dog, because emotional support dogs, as far as I know, are not legally recognized like service dogs are, yeah, TJ Maxx could have been sued.
Sure, when they was walking around that store, both those white folks was walking around, and that one pit bull, she was walking around like she was the queen of the store, which at that point she probably was. That was a big pit bull. And that other lady dog, when that dog jumped at somebody, they should have made that lady leave.
That's right.
Because it was people in the store with their kids. But I just wanted to get that out there. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Thank you. Appreciate your call. You don't want me running for office. First thing I'm going to do is, unless it is a legitimate, you need to be blind. You want to have a dog in public, you better not be able to see. There'll be something need to be real wrong with you. Like you can't function without the dog. My dog makes me feel happy. I got to bring him with me wherever. I would make it illegal, do you hear me, for you to bring your dogs in public. And I demand to see the damn paperwork. Even if you do have a legitimate service dog, before you go into any establishment, you need to show that to somebody, or you can't come in. Oh, no, this is my service dog. Hi, do you have the paperwork to verify that this is a service dog? No, I left the paperwork at home. Then go back home and get it. What has happened to our damn society where we just let dogs cannot go the same places people can go. They're animals, and even though you believe that your dog is trained, unless you spent the $50 or $60, $70, $100,000 that it takes to actually train a service dog. But here's the thing about service dogs: you can't pet them, and a lot of times service dogs will have to wear they have another vest on that says "Don't pet me, I'm working." You don't pet service dogs. In fact, if you ever see somebody that has a service dog, they will tell you in a second that they do not like people coming up to their dogs. Like kids will go up to the service dog. You don't pet a service dog when they're working. Like they're legitimately trained to do certain tasks, not to just be petted. I don't know what it is with y'all and these damn dogs in public. I know I told this story before. I went into the Jimmy John's on State Street on about I don't know, like 73rd and State Street. I want to go get me a sandwich. I get the number 6 with the hot peppers on it. So I'm going to get me a number 6 with the hot peppers, found me a parking spot, which is rare because it's not a lot of parking over there on 70-something in State. I'm going to get me a number 6 with the hot peppers. I walk in the damn Jimmy John's, and it's a golden retriever just laying on the floor. There's not even an owner anywhere in sight. It's just laying on the floor. When I say laying on the floor, you had to step over the dog to order the food. And I'm looking around like, do y'all see this? Do y'all see the golden retriever just laying on the floor and nobody said anything? I swear y'all lost your mind. Let's talk to John. You're on the new 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Morning, Sherwin. Interesting thing this morning, for me especially, I grew up with dogs. I always had it. I had one dog from when I was 13 till I was 26.
Oh.
When the Surgeon came out and he was still living. But when you told us about your neighbor with the big dog, it reminded me of a story that I raised my family on 23rd and Lloyd, and across the alley I had established a children's garden. Now, at the time, my grandson lived with me. He was about 7 at the time, and I told him to stay in front of the house and ride his bike. When I knew anything, and I forgot how they tuned, I didn't see it, he took his bike around there looking for me, and the neighbor's dog came out, and the neighbor's dog was an American bulldog. And he would have attacked my grandson, except my grandson was smart enough to put his bike between the dog and him, and the dog was trying to get around the bike, and the owner came out and got him. My owner came out and got the dog, and he wasn't black either. I called the police. The police looked at, and there was a lady officer. She said, if that dog was loose on me, I would shoot him. Now, you have 2 options here, and I've forgotten now what the options were, but one was like an $800 fine. And I said, do that. My neighbor was very upset, and he tried to talk to me. I said, I'm not hearing it because you got that dog trained to where he will attack anybody. You think that's smart, and he could have killed my grandson. But there was a time when I had 2 dogs that I could walk at night on the sidewalk. They would stop when they get to the corner. I would take them to Carver Park, and I would do my walking around the park, and the dogs would stay there, and we'd walk back home. You can't do that anymore.
So your dogs were off the leash?
Yeah, they were off the leash. I never used the leash. They would heel when I told them to, both of them. I'm very good at training dogs, and I always use food. If you train a dog to look for a command from you, that saves a whole lot of time when you need them. Now, some dogs are just hard-headed. I had a basset hound. He's a hunting dog. He's a rabbit hunting dog, and he was my last dog. He was a super dog. But anyway, when I took him hunting, if we were ready to go and he wasn't ready to go, he wouldn't come until I closed the doors and moved the car, and he would haul to get in that car. But today, children don't know anything about dogs except these mean dogs. And if I had a means to buy dogs and breed them, like Shih Tzus, dogs that wouldn't hurt anybody, and let children raise the dogs and sell them. Do you know what they get for puppies today? $800 and $900. A whole lot of people can't afford a dog.
Yeah, but they
And then
frown
they-
on that stuff nowadays, John. They call those puppy mills. You're supposed to go get a rescue dog or one of those dogs they're about to put to sleep. But back in the day, people used to breed dogs all the time, and I guess they frown upon that.
Well, when I was growing up, dogs were everywhere roaming the streets alone. My dog that I had for 13 years.
That was a long
my
time
father
ago,
would
I'm
see-
assuming. That was like in the 40s, right?
Yeah. I got him in 1948, I believe.
Damn. All right, well, I guess times have changed. So nowadays, even if you have your dog trained, if your dog is off leash, you're still going to get a ticket. And we have to make sure
And-
that
and
law
it should
is enforced equally and across the board, because when the police come and that dog is off leash, it doesn't matter. You're going to get a citation. But, John, I got to go. I got to take a break, and I got 2 more calls I got to grab.
Good talking to you.
All right, likewise. Back in 1940, hey, just dogs everywhere. See, they were in trees. They even flew helicopters. World War II, we used to send dogs over to Germany to fight. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is 1017 The Truth's Telly Hughes, and the time is now, Milwaukee. Truth Be Told with DT and Telly is a show that's committed to creating a healthy space and dialogue every single morning for full transparency when it comes to issues and perspective through the African American lens. So listen to Truth Be Told with me, Telly Hughes, every day from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is your Financial Empowerment Minute on the new 1017 The Truth, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
Because I got people who want to live off of $10,000 a month. And then I got people who say 4 is enough, right? Whatever it is, we want to make sure that, again, you have a plan and you know what it's going to take to get there. What resources do you have? Is it a 401k? Do you have a pension? Do you have, stocks or,
Or real
outside
estate,
money?
stuff.
Yep. How are we going to fund it? Right? Because that's a big thing too. A lot of people think, okay, well, I'm just going to dump money into my 401k and build it as long as I can, and then I'll be set. But taking money out and distributing it the right way is 10 times more important than accumulating it. Because you got to think about the taxes. And you got to think about a lot of other things.
Tune into The Truth every month for our financial empowerment interviews with Northwestern Mutual.
April is Financial Literacy Month, and according to the FINRA, 60% of Wisconsin residents can't answer basic financial literacy questions, and over half are living paycheck to paycheck. Secure Futures is here to change this by equipping teens with transformative money management skills to help teens reach their financial goals and keep their families and communities economically secure. Join Secure Futures and change a teen's life today as a volunteer or supporter. For more information or to learn how to get involved, visit securefutures.org.
On Diversity and Excellence powered by Erie Insurance, I am so excited to talk about the different ways that Erie Insurance can help with our community growth, can provide job opportunities from Erie Insurance Corporate, or with our local agency force. I'm really excited about the education of generational wealth in our Black and Brown communities and how we are a part of the communities here locally. There's so much more we can be a part of. Listen to me, Fred Johnson, on Diversity and Excellence, powered by Erie Insurance.
Are you looking for an opportunity to better the Milwaukee community? Do you want to develop your skills for a career or job? City Year Milwaukee is recruiting for its 14th cohort of AmeriCorps members. We are hiring young adults ages 18 to 25 to serve our amazing scholars in Milwaukee Public Schools. This opportunity allows you to serve your community and gain professional development, which will allow you to enter the workforce, your next educational journey, or even stay with us for a second year of service. Visit cityyear.org to connect with our local recruiters and learn how to apply.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome back. So this one is from JSTOR. So like an information clearinghouse website. The abstract. In human animal studies, dogs are often framed as promoters of interactions among strangers. Yet very few of these studies discuss how racial structure shapes human-to-human engagement. Similarly, race scholarship and urban studies have failed to incorporate human-animal studies fully to better understand racial dynamics and inequality in U.S. cities. This scientist uses in-depth interview data from an 18-month study of Creek Ridge Park, an urban multiracial and mixed-income neighborhood in Durham, North Carolina. So this is the scientific abstract of the article that I was reading from earlier that appeared in U.S. News. They explored the role of dogs for white residents. They focused on identifying if dogs help bridge social differences between white residents and their Black and Latinx neighbors in a racially and economically diverse neighborhood. It was found that white respondents shared many examples of dogs facilitating neighborly relationships and friendships. These relationships were largely between same-race individuals. By reinforcing a white urban middle-class habit, white residents used dogs to maintain interracial boundaries and feelings of safety, as well as navigate racial ethnic differences between themselves and their Black and Latinx neighbors. These findings point to the necessity of more research that addresses racial structure and human-animal studies to better understand contemporary urban spaces. That's crazy to me. White folks will have dogs so that they can socially interact with other white people that have dogs, but white people maintain their dogs as a form of security against black people. So race and racism is in everything. How it can build community amongst white dog owners, but be a barrier between white dog owners and black non-dog owners. Let's talk to a black dog owner that also doesn't vote. Dion, the non-voter. You're on the new 101.7 The Truth.
Hold on real quick, Robert. Hey, sir, when I believe in, I'm calling the radio.
Oh, you're all
I believe in bringing my dog in the store with me, and I don't care how nobody feels about it. I love taking my dog in there. And there have been places where I couldn't bring my dog in there. And if I can't bring my dog in there, then guess what? I'm not spending no money.
Good. Leave. Get out.
Yeah.
Leave. We don't want you in there with that dog. Get out of there. You shouldn't be in that damn store with the dog. Leave the dog at home, man. Leave the dog in the car. But crack the window, because I guess you're supposed to crack the window when the dog in the car.
No, I can't. All right, Robert. Yeah, I can't. I love taking my dog with me, though. My dog is my emotional. Listen, I got 2 dogs, plus my girl dog. I got a snake. I know you've seen my snake. I got a big old snake. And I got a rat. The reason I ended up with the rat is because my snake didn't eat the rat, so I just kept the rat for a pet.
What's wrong with you, Dion? What's the matter?
No,
who hurt you?
But you know what, though? I have always liked snakes. I've been owning snakes since 95. Like, I've been having my snakes since 2014. It's been almost 10 years.
What the hell do you do with a snake, man? What does a snake do?
I got a my snake is 14 feet long. I got a Burmese python, the kind that be killing alligators in the Everglades.
Why do you have one of those? Why?
I like snakes. But now, if I could turn back the hands of time, I'm getting older. It's hard to handle a big snake when it's all muscle. You know, I didn't like dogs until I got my dog. And then you know what happened to my dog? She got hit. I had to get one of her legs removed. You know, that was a real bad
I seen her hopping around. She got 3 legs. She just be hopping.
Yes, she does. Well, yes, she does. But, you know, it is what it is.
How much did it cost to get your dog's leg amputated? I'm curious about vet bills and why y'all pay these outrageous amounts of money to the vet. How much that cost?
I came out of like $3,000. I came out of $2,500. Yeah, I came out of $2,500 for the actual surgery. But then I took her down there to the emergency room. And they, you know, they play on your sympathies down there, you know. So, yeah, they took her to the emergency room when they first, come on, man, go. I took her to the emergency room. See, that's why I'm a reckless driver right here. I can't do it because I'm in Butler. But this guy right here in front of me, I would have went around him. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But, yeah, though, so I love my dog. I take her everywhere. You know, I wanted to take her on the airplane with me because I'm going to be going to Phoenix this month. But they want $95 2 ways there and back. I said,
wait a minute, Dion. You paid $3,000 to have a dog's leg cut off, but won't pay $95 for a plane ticket.
Well, hold on. That was a life-threatening thing right there. I don't want her to go that bad, you know, where I'm going to pay, you know. I didn't want my dog to die. Now, death and her traveling with me is two different things. But I'm going down to Phoenix to see, she going to be in the hotel most of the time anyway, so ain't nobody, you know, everybody don't want, you know, everybody don't like dogs. And, you know, I wasn't a dog person. I literally, like, I used to hate my brother's dogs. I used to, you know, do mean things to him. But now that I got my dog and I love dogs now and I don't like to see people mistreat. I don't like to see people mistreat no animals. Like,
Dion, somebody just called and asked how your dog got hit where it lost a leg. Were you being inattentive?
Well, I was being irresponsible because my dog is very trained, very well trained. She's not aggressive. I normally get
pit bull, correct?
I live over there around. Wait, hold on, let me finish. I live over there around Madison High School. So it's like an industrial area or a wooded area. So normally I walk on the leash till I get to the wooded area and I let her off the leash and let her run. But that day I went to the laundromat because I washed their clothes at the laundromat, you know. I took her clothes to the laundromat. So my first mom said, Dion, don't take her because she's real hyper. But okay, I want to give her my best wishes, you know. I took her. I said, well, if the industrial, we just going to walk down the alley.
Dion, I got 20 seconds. You can't tell us every little detail about the weather and stuff that day. What happened, man?
I took her off the leash. Somebody's dog attacked her. She ran away, got hit by a LaGuardia money truck. They reimbursed me after I paid it, but I had to get Fox 6 involved. But yeah, no, that's how it happened.
All right, well, I gotta go. Thank you very much, Dion, for the story about your dog got hit by a security truck. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 3.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Coming with straight truth.
That's the problem. When you don't have to set white privilege aside, in those times when you have white privilege and you know you're using it, that's when you set it aside. You don't set it aside and talk about it on the radio because you want to be great, because everybody hears you do it. That's like saying, hey, I found some money and I turned it in. Yeah, but you only turned it in because people were watching you. What do you do when people aren't watching you? What do you do when you with your group of friends in Union Grove?
Listen to The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and the Truth app.
This is 1017 The Truth's Sherwin Hughes, and I am Milwaukee. This show has meant so much to me because it's an opportunity for me to express my thoughts and my feelings to my community, and for my community to express those same thoughts and feelings right back to me. Milwaukee means a lot to me. I was born here, raised here, educated here, and I'm committed to making this a better city. Join the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations where you can speak your truth. We are the new 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee, Black Talk.
We didn't know what to expect. We were just left in a hotel.
My mom was doing drugs in the house.
Tay and Brianna spent years of their childhood in homes that weren't safe. They were placed in foster care and longed for a permanent, loving home.
I didn't know what my future was.
I wouldn't speak to anyone. I was afraid of everything.
With help from the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption, Brianna and Tay were adopted and now feel excited about their futures.
I'm studying to be a chef, and I really want to travel the world.
I'm going to be a mechanic, and I can focus on my career.
Right now, in the United States, there are more than 100,000 children in foster care, just like Brianna and Tay, who need a family now. Learn how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel you attract people who tend to be compulsive or abusive?
Do you have money problems because of someone else's drinking?
Are you afraid or embarrassed to bring your friends home?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
More than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Get the truth and nothing but the truth with Sherwin Hughes every weekday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 a.m. WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is your 101.7 The Truth News Update.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melanie Ricks with your news update. A car versus bus crash Saturday night sent a toddler to the hospital in critical condition. The Milwaukee Police Department is investigating the crash that occurred on Saturday at about 9:17 p.m. A black Nissan traveling south in the 3100 block of South Sherman Boulevard collided with a Milwaukee County Transit System bus traveling east on Burleigh in the intersection of Sherman and Burleigh, according to police. A 2-year-old boy in the Nissan was taken to a local hospital in critical condition. A 23-year-old woman driving the Nissan was taken into custody. Charges are pending review at the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office. In another crash involving a bus, this time a school bus, several people were injured in a crash involving that school bus in Milwaukee this morning, according to the Milwaukee Fire Department. A chief with MFD said that one person was taken to Children's Wisconsin and another was taken to Froedtert, and others were taken to hospitals via private ambulances. The crash happened near 80th and Mill Road near Morris Middle School for the gifted and talented. The exact number of people injured, their ages, and the extent of injuries have not yet been released, but it does appear that 3 or 4 vehicles were involved. It's the first day of National Mental Health Awareness Month, and Kohl's has made a donation to Children's Wisconsin in hopes of opening 3 more mental health walk-in clinics across the state. Kohl's announced that it has donated $3 million for the new clinics. According to a news release from Kohl's, the intent of the donation is to open 1 clinic location each year over the next 3 years. The locations for those clinics have not yet been selected, but will be spread throughout Wisconsin. The news release says that the walk-in clinics will provide mental health support to kids between the ages of 5 and 18.
This was the news update on 101.7 The Truth. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes continues next here on the new 101.7 The Truth.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I'm not joking, y'all. This topic has gotten a larger response than probably anything I've talked about in recent memory. I've got probably 20 unread text messages. The phone calls have been consistent. Derek is on line 3. Bob is on line 2. I ain't no telling what Bob might say, but Bob is also supposed to be playing the saxophone. So, all right, here we go. Derek, you've been holding for a very long time, and I appreciate your patience. You're on the new 101.7 The Truth.
Yeah, Sherwin, I won't be that. I'll be brief. I can just name 3 circumstances, at least in my neighborhood where I live. We had a neighborhood newspaper, and they were talking about, I used to walk about a mile or 2 miles, but now I don't do that anymore because in the neighborhood they were talking about somebody had they had 2 Rottweilers, and the Rottweilers, they wound up attacking somebody. I don't know what happened to that person, but hopefully that person was okay. And also, my friend, he owned a True Value hardware store, and one day I went in there and I noticed he had signs against pets and animals and everything else like that. And I said, "What's this all about?" He said, "Well, we had some white people coming in here, and they were bringing in snakes inside the store, and he told me you can't do that. I guess that's considered a pet or something like that."
Sound like Dion. Dion got a damn pet snake. It's disgusting.
Yeah, but they were bringing the snakes inside the store. And also, my last thing is that this guy, I was taking a class. This guy was from Louisiana, kind of young guy, and he was just talking about, I don't know about the dog thing being a racial thing or historical thing, but according to him, he says if a black person's walking any place in the southern United States in a white neighborhood, the dogs will be barking, and he says they'll be growling and things like that. And is that a bunch of BS or what is that? Or does with the owner, the dog is a bigot because the owner is a bigot? can a dog be trained to dislike black folks or something like that?
You know, there's research that's actually dedicated to this because dogs are technically colorblind. I think that dogs just react on their owner's anxiety. So if a white person is racist and gets anxious and fearful when a black person comes around, a dog could be responding and reacting to that, to their owner. But who knows? I don't know. These white folks and these damn dogs, I don't know.
And I was thinking, one last comment is you were talking about there may not be it could be a historic thing about the black people not having a lot of dogs because the race and the historical thing about dogs and not have actually I didn't know too many black people did have dogs coming up here where I live.
Well, some of it is a money thing because dogs are an additional expense. I mean, you got to think about how much money you need just to maintain a household. Then if you add kids, dogs, dog food, their care, all of that is an extra expense. And because we have lower incomes overall, I think that's a part of it. It's another damn thing to take care of. Now, I had pets growing up. I don't want y'all to think I didn't have pets. You know what I had? I had some freshwater fish, and I had 2 parakeets, Molly and Polly. That's what I had. 2 parakeets. That's it. Parents wasn't getting me no dog. In fact, my father, he lobbied on my behalf to get me a dog. He said to my mother, look, Emma, the boy should have a dog. All boys need to have a dog. There ain't no dog coming in my house jumping on my furniture. So, of course, my mother won, and I never got a dog, which is good because I wouldn't have walked my dog. I wouldn't have cleaned up after my dog. I would have been a terrible dog owner. So that's probably a good thing.
Okay. But also, leash, they their dog leash, especially those that Rottweilers who would attack that person. And that was a terrible thing that happened. And
it is.
Another thing, too, if you tell somebody, hey, your dog needs to be in a leash, boy, you might get their ire. They'll get very angry at you. And I think I've seen it happen.
Oh, every time I see a dog off leash, like I literally stop what I'm doing and I say something to the owner and I make sure other people can hear me. I say, we have a leash law. Your dog should be on a leash. I say it to them every time. I wish they would. I've never had anybody say anything negative. People have apologized or they've grabbed their dog's collar because they know that it's against the law. And that's a stupid fine to get. It's stupid. Having the dog on a leash protects you. It protects the dog. You don't get a fine because anything can spook a dog. Anything can make the dog chase after somebody if the dog thinks there's a threat to the owner. It's just not worth it. But these dog owners, because they're taking over so many public damn spaces, like we're over here trying to tear down buildings in the city of Milwaukee that need to be businesses because they want to make them damn dog parks. It's ridiculous. But Derek, I got to go. You said you was going to be brief, and you just kept going. I got to go, Derek. I got to talk to. Look here, man. Look. What is you doing today, Bob? What are you doing?
Hey, Sherwin. How you doing?
I'm good. Playing the saxophone? Are you talking about dogs or both?
Well, I just wanted to say about dogs, I feel the same way about dogs. I don't want to be, when you have 3 kids and clean up behind them, I don't want to clean up behind nobody else. And, my father had a parakeet that talks, and guess who had to clean up behind them once or twice a week, I can understand animal lovers, because my father loved birds. So, I'm ready to play the sax. And I just kind of wish this was the last time because you got some wonderful callers, and they don't need to hear a D- saxophone on the air.
Bob, do you know that you can stop playing sax at any time? You make it seem like somebody twisting your one good arm. Ain't nobody twisting your one good arm, man. You don't even got to play today, actually.
Well, no. I know you're trying to be nice and let me play it and try.
No. I don't know. Ain't nobody trying to be nice. You gonna call here and say, "Oh, I wish this could be the last time." It can be. It totally can be the last time, Bob.
Yeah, until you let me play. Until you call me and want me to play at your studio on your time. Don't throw me to somebody else. It's on your time.
Hold on, man. So a minute ago, you wanted this to be the last time you play, but now you want to come play it in the studio? Bob, this is about as good as you going to get. This is it. You going to play. Listen here, man. You going to play on the air on Mondays. That's it. You ain't coming down here with that saxophone, man. We talked about this, Bob.
Well, your callers don't deserve a D-. You got Dion that calls in, and what it is what it is. You got Miss Shaq with no shoes on. You got a caller that says, I'll get him some neck bones, and you got another caller that says, we're not going to give him number $5 because he only got one arm. I mean, you got some wonderful callers, man, and they don't need to be hearing no D-.
Then don't play the damn sax if they don't need to be hearing the D-. But you know what's funny, Bob? First of all, you don't know how to act when you come here. So for those of you that might be unaware, when Bob was here, when he showed up in the studio, when he bum rushed us, when he ambushed us, you know what Bob was doing? Giving money to all the women. Here you go, baby. Here you go. Here $20 for just giving money to all the girls here, trying to buy himself a date.
Not showing. Now listen.
You didn't try to give Carrie some money. You ain't try to give Danielle some money.
Yeah, I tried to
exactly.
Yeah, buy lunch for him.
Yeah, I know. You wanted more than lunch, buddy.
Sure.
And Miss Shaq is on the phone right now, Bob. You was just talking about Miss Shaq with no shoes on. Guess what? She on line 1 right now. Miss Shaq?
Well, we can excuse this Miss Shaq.
I don't know why she ain't talking. Miss Shaq, can you hear us?
Hey, Sherwin. Hey, Truth Nation.
Say hello to Bob.
Hello.
Bob
Hey,
is
Bob.
on the line, too.
Hello, Miss.
Hey,
Miss
Bob.
Shaq. I didn't mean to knock you.
Good,
no. Huh?
Now you speak up, Miss Shaq, for she gonna appear. That's all.
Miss Shaq, are you wearing shoes right now? Bob seemed to think you always barefoot.
No, shoes is good for the form of your feet. You need to wear shoes, but when I'm outside and on the beach, I prefer to be barefooted. But Sherwin.
Yes.
We had a really great time over the weekend. I tell you, I met Black Conscious. I met White Widow.
Oh, you was out there cleaning up. You went out there in the rain.
It was so nice. But I want to also say, Sherwin, I did not grow up with, we grew up in the segregated South, right? So I'm a country girl, but the dog stayed, by the outhouse. And so when I came up here and I had children and my father, he had animals, but I found myself beating a daggone shepherd at 15. So then when I got pregnant and I had sons, guess what? They all loved dogs. I had to learn to love dogs. I had to learn to love football. I had to learn to love basketball. We had 13 Rottweilers and Pit Bulls in my house at one time, the puppies. And we had the big box. We had to put a comforter in there.
Were you breeding them?
And I fell in love with them when I started feeding them, when we had to get a bottle and feed them from baby. I was like, oh, my God. And so that's when I started falling in love with them. But guess what? The Rottweilers, I believe it was, they got the Pavlov disease. And so my son's a girlfriend had bought him a puppy. And so the puppy was a Rottweiler, but the puppy got the Pavlov disease, too. And so man, we took the animal to the animal emergency because, like I said, my kids was like really into animals. I didn't understand it, but I had to support my kids. So, man, that cost me, $1,200. And then we brought the IV home. My son stayed with that animal in his arms night and day, feeding that animal through that IV and everything. Look, I learned a new respect for my son for real out of that experience, and I just wanted to share that with Truth Nation about 13 dogs. It was just beautiful. Took the pictures with them, trying to come up the stairs and bopping through the grass. Calendar pictures.
Do you have any dogs now?
Oh, yeah. He has 3. He has 2
How many do you have?
pit bulls and 1. Oh, I don't have any, but I'm looking for those little, what you call them, Timkies or something like that, the little ones.
What the hell? Well, I know it's the dog on the line right now, but he only got 1 arm, but he's looking for a good home. He knows how to play the saxophone. I think his house broken, but I'm not sure. Bob, you there?
Miss Jackie's trying to start something. You know, see, everybody needs to be checked in this world, and I, you know, but they do try to do it intelligently and carefully and cautious. Plus, you're a VIP person also. But I will check you, Sherman, anytime you need it, because you just
not only did he say he'll check me, he called me Sherman. Okay. You gonna check me, huh?
Well, everybody needs to be checked once in a while.
Come on then and check me, oh 1-armed bandit. Come on. You might walk over, but you gonna limp back. Come on then. Tired of this mess.
You know,
now I'm gonna put you on hold because I gotta take a break. Hold on, Bob.
Yes,
talking about he gonna check me. Unbelievable. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is 1017 The Truth's Tori Lowe, and I am Milwaukee. The Tori Lowe Show has become a resource for the community. I enjoy having open, on-air discussions about what we can do to regroup, rethink the black man, the black woman, and the black child. This show is about that action, and I want all the smoke. Join the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations where you can speak your truth. We are the new 1017 The Truth, Milwaukee Black Talk.
Reaching out for support is an important step that takes courage. At Ascension, Wisconsin, our mental health professionals are committed to delivering compassionate support and care at every step through personalized substance use disorder programs. Ready for recovery? We're here to listen and offer compassionate support. Start your recovery with our team by your side. Call 855-830-WELL, which is 855-830-9355.
Your first time biking to work. Your new helmet? Secure. Your bike? Road ready. You got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee-free with no minimum balance requirements. So even if down the road that bike needs a little maintenance, at least your checking account won't. You've got this with Access Checking from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
New season, new ball game. All Brewers games are on sale now. Grab your seats for the rivalries, giveaways, and all the excitement on tap for 2023. Don't miss this season's Brewers action, including new rules, new opponents, new faces, and brand new ways to enjoy the game, including the Sunday Funday bundle for just $59, plus the 414 value menu. Check out the complete schedule and get your seats today at brewers.com/tickets.
Carrie, where's Tori Lowe and Dr. Ken at? I'm trying to knock these commercials out.
How am I supposed to know, Sherwin?
Well, I'm about to do their parts because my impressions are on point anyway. This is Dr. Ken Harris from Truth in the Afternoon, and I want you to download the Truth app in the Google Play Store and Apple Store so you can never miss my show or any of the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Really, Kyle?
Sherwin, you are crazy.
Sherwin, your impression of me is horrible. Move. Give me my mic. I guess I'll just repeat what Sherwin said. Go to the Google Play Store or Apple Store to download the 1017 The Truth app today so you can take the home of Milwaukee Black Talk with you wherever you are.
Can't listen live? Download the new 1017 The Truth app on your smartphone today to catch up on all your favorite shows. Search 1017 The Truth on your Google Play Store or Apple App Store so you don't miss out on any of the action. More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
No, Bob, I want you to check me. Come on.
All right, Sherman. All right, Sherman. I guess I'll check you real quick. to show you that I'm smarter than you. You know what I mean? Not intellectual. You are smart. You are very more intellectual. You are have much information, and plus you're a VIP person. And so, you know, it's wonderful to have met you and listen to you, but I'm smarter. Okay, I'm going to tell you why, Sherman. And then I'm going to check you right when I tell you why. Here, your audience gets a D- sex because you got a 5 delay and it's eerie and everything. And I just suggest to play on your show, and like I did before. And
so you think you gonna check me and I'm gonna let you come in my studio? Bob, you got 20 seconds to check me or I'm going on the line too, buddy.
Well, Sherwin, I don't do it for fame or money.
I know.
I do it because
you would never be famous or get rich playing that saxophone, man.
There we go. You coming out. And see, you know, the bottom line, Sherwin, is the fact that it's just more sensible, logical, because I sound like a C+ or a B when I'm down there because there's no 4-minute delay. I'm so glad I redeemed myself by coming down there. I think it was February the 21st.
You remember the damn date? Oh, yeah, I should remember the date, too. It was the worst day of my damn life. Bob, don't blame the delay on your sax. Listen, man, play the damn sax. I'm getting tired of this, man. Just play the damn sax before I change my mind.
All right, Sherry. Okay, I'll play the sax. Okay. Try to make this the last time because, you know, okay.
Oh, no, we gonna make it the last time. You better believe that, Buster.
All right, Sherry. That's good. Now, going in circles. Is it too loud? You can hear that?
Didn't we tell you to not have the background music? You're just so hard-headed, Bob. You just don't listen to nothing.
Wait a minute. Now, listen.
Why am I doing? Why do I do this to myself? Every damn month. Oh, God. Lord have mercy. Somebody done killed the goose. He over here killing the goose. All right, that's enough. All right, Bob, that's good. All right, wrap it up. Okay, then. All right. Curtis, you're on the new 101.7 The Truth. Curtis, please don't play any horned instruments.
Oh, man, you are safe, Sherwin. You ain't got to worry about me. I'm trying to get the ringing out of my ears right now.
Good luck.
Go ahead, Bob. I ain't mad at you, but
I'm mad at him.
I can tell. So, but I just wanted to talk about dogs real quick. You know, I've had dogs periodically off and on throughout my life. I got one now who's a rescue, and this dog probably my favorite because I finally, you know, I'm at the point now where I understand how valuable of a companion a pet can be when you need that. I think dogs should be trained. You know, I think dogs should not go where human food is openly served, things like that. You know, I think you should be a responsible dog owner. But at the same time, you know, there's a lot of people that aren't, and that's what confuses people. Like, you don't like dogs. I don't know if you just don't like dogs, or is it the fact that you never had one, so they're no big deal to you?
It's not that I don't like them. I just don't like irresponsible dog owners that put dogs in places that dogs should not be. If you have a legitimate service dog, I am 100% in support of that. But if somebody just wants their pet with them just because, don't bring it to the grocery store and put it in the cart like it's a child.
I agree. You know, there are some people with these little teacup-sized dogs. They keep them in their purse. Those are no big deal. You know, only thing they're going to do is poop in the purse, and they got to clean that out themselves. But, you know, I just think that pets are important. Dogs, whatever you like. You know, I had fish tank. Those can get very expensive. Depends how, you know, exotic you want to get.
But the fish ain't going to jump out the tank and bite somebody. You don't take the fish tank with you when you go to the restaurant. There's a big difference. I want people to be able to have their pets. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I'm going to say, have you ever had a Oscar or a piranha?
No.
Those are freshwater fish that people love, and if your top isn't secure, they will jump out. And a piranha, if it gets near you, it will bite you. So I'm just saying, and people love those type of fish. Anything like that, you know what I'm saying, it takes care.
Yeah, but it's contained, though. And if somebody dumb enough to leave the lid off of a piranha fish tank, well, they deserve what they get. They'll learn their lesson for being an irresponsible piranha fish owner. But dogs are different because even if your dog is trained, you may not know how your dog is going to react in certain situations, especially if your dog thinks that its owner is being threatened. Then, especially with kids, because kids can be very unpredictable.
Mm-hmm. That's why I tell kids right away, ask before you approach me with my dog. Now, my dog's a little 12-year-old Beagle mix. She's a rescue. She's harmless. Most of her teeth are gone. So the only thing she's going to do is gnaw you to death or lick you till incessantly. You know what I'm saying? But I still tell, you know, out of respect, ask that person, can you approach their dog? Is that dog friendly? They will tell you, you know, immediately, no, this dog is not friendly. This dog does not like kids. This dog only likes other dogs, and so on. My dog loves kids but doesn't care for other dogs. So that's why I think it's important, people, before you approach another person's dog, you know, you ask those type of things, because when that dog snaps at you, now you're going to want to sue and do all these things, but you didn't, you know, apply the proper protocol.
That's true.
You know, when it comes down to dealing with pets. So, you know, and I'm just careful with my dog about who she's around and things of that nature, because I love dogs and I respect dogs and pets and I respect people, you know, and we all have to live together. Now, those dingoes you talked about, those are wild dogs. In Australia, there's no winters there. Here, you should take your dog in a house, because this is Wisconsin. It gets sub-zero temperatures. These dogs are not made to be outside. You know, these dogs are domesticated. They're from here. They should not be outside in extreme weather, you know. But, you know, if you keep your dog clean and things like that, you know, I ain't got my dog all in the bed and, you know, I don't like all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? My dog comes sit next to me. She'll lay her head on me. I pet her. That makes me feel better, makes her feel better. And that's really all it's about, you know. And I just love taking care of something that loves me unconditionally. And that's what it feels like when you have a pet, like a dog or a cat. So, and that's pretty much all I wanted to say, man. I appreciate your words on this.
All right, Curtis. Appreciate your call. All right. Sound like, fellas, not understanding companionship, you know, man's best friend and all that, and they're very loyal. Have y'all ever considered a woman? I'm just, maybe try a lady, maybe not. Okay, it's up to you. So I think my mother felt bad that she didn't let me get a dog. She just was not having it. So we tried fish. I had a really nice fish tank. It was actually like a fun hobby that my dad and I had. Like, you get the fish tank and you put all the rocks in it and you put the little fake plants in there and you do all the stuff to make the fish tank look nice. And I go to the pet store and I get a fish. Or if I like did good that week, you know, I did my chores, or if I brought home a good grade, we go to the pet store and we get another fish. It was just really, really fun. It's like a bonding thing that I did with my father. But with my fish tank, we used to have a problem with the heater, because with a freshwater tank, you got to have it heated, right? There's a little heater that you put in the tank. And we'd have some weird things going on with the heater, but okay, it is what it is. You know, sometimes if the temperature got a little too high, we just turned it down. If it got too low, we turned it up. Well, I came home from school one day, And I noticed all my damn fish was floating upside down. Well, the damn heater got so hot, the water got so hot, it cooked my damn fish. I came home to a tank full of fish soup. So then I got parakeets. And apparently parakeets talk. Mine didn't talk. I had the dumbest damn parakeets in the whole world. And parakeets, I don't know if you know this, they poop a lot. Okay? But I had a real nice cage full of parakeets. Molly and Polly, I bought a pair of them. Went to the pet store, or brought the parakeets home. They put them in a box. Parakeets don't like to be put in a box. They were flying all around the damn box. So we get home, we set up the cage, we open up the door of the cage, we open the box, and they're flying all around the damn cage. And then they were just in there hanging out, and they groom each other, and they were in there. Well, one day, very bad news. I came home, and my father said, we've had a death in the family. Now, when I hear that from my father, I'm like, oh, my God, my mama dead. Daddy! No, Sherwin, your mama's fine. Molly died. One of your parakeets died. I was very sad. And I was like, well, because I wanted to bury her. I was like, well, where is she? I want to give her a funeral. He said, I put her in a Ziploc bag and put her in the garbage. I went and I looked, and I saw my damn bird in a Ziploc bag, just feet sticking up in the air. Terrible sight. But here's the thing, because my parents really didn't like the birds because they made a lot of noise. They would shed. They smelled terrible. And here's what my parents convinced me of. I'll never forgive them for this. I was like 8 years old. And I said, Sherwin, can't you tell that Polly is very sad because Molly died? She doesn't chirp anymore. She just sits there. She's very depressed. You know what the best thing would be, Sherwin? I said, well, what is that? You're right, my bird is a little sad. It doesn't chirp anymore. My father said we should let it go and just open up the cage and let it fly out the window. And I was like, you know what? It can then be with the other birds. So we took the cage outside, and then we opened up the cage, and man, it took off. Do y'all know that parakeet probably got ate by like a hawk in 10 seconds? Parakeets can't survive in the damn wild, and I know my parents knew that. So one bird dies. My daddy probably killed my bird. Just so we could let the other bird go. I was like, yeah, that would be a great idea. Let it go, and it can play with the other birds. My father said, yeah, it'll be friends with the robins and the sparrows. Yeah, it'll make bird friends. Let's just let it go. Damn, parakeet probably didn't make it to the end of the night. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is your Financial Empowerment Minute on the new 1017 The Truth, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
So if folks don't have budgets, first and foremost, would you all recommend that they put together a B word?
Well, you know what? I think I got another B word. Uh-oh,
is yours the other B word? What B word is yours?
So here's my deal. I don't think most people have a budgeting problem. I think most people have a behavioral problem.
Oh.
Okay? So the budget is no good if you're not going to make a commitment to follow through on what you're doing. And I think that's really the key. You got to have enough courage to sit down and go through all your expenses, but then you do need to kind of have that real conversation and hold yourself to the fire to actually commit to doing the action. When me and Erica merged years ago, she has a budget, right, where it actually annualizes how much money you're spending for the year on that said thing. So if you were to put in, say, $100 a month for your coffee, whatever it may be, on her budget, you're going to see it actually being $1,200 for the year.
Tune into The Truth every month for our financial empowerment interviews with Northwestern Mutual.
Life's better with an auto policy from American Family Insurance. No matter what dreams you're driving towards. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto coverage at the right price. You'll also save up to 23% when you bundle auto with home. American Family Insurance. Get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Sharon needed legal help. She needed Gruber Law Offices.
When I think about Gruber Law Office, I think about how they took care of me, how they make sure that you get what you're supposed to get. Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all. I will always Always trust one call, that's all.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
They are the best. I'm very happy.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips that you plan in advance, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends for which you make a group chat 3 months before so that nobody or anything is missing? Or your daughter's first birthday party. You planned it with such dedication that instead of the first, it felt like our 15s. The same way you plan each detail for those moments. Start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit. And make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Listen to The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on Wednesday, as he will be broadcasting live from the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Milwaukee for their college signing day, and that's presented to you by Direct Supply. Dr. Ken will be speaking with students from the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Milwaukee about their journey through high school to college. Again, that is The Truth in the Afternoon live from the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Milwaukee College Signing Day this Wednesday on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Mr. Mahdi says, mean parents, wow, killing birds, wow. I mean, I don't have any evidence that they killed Polly, but they convinced me to let her go. And she took off. When we opened the cage, she was like, phew, I can't wait to get away from these black people. She probably thought we was going to fry her and eat her. That's probably what she thought. Miss Shack says, rolling on the floor, fish soup. It's not funny, the heater in my freshwater tank went haywire and it cooked my fish. Dion sent a picture of this disgusting snake. That is disgusting. Rhea, you need to look at this picture. That's vile. It's huge. Good grief. 414875 says, they say a lot. You like snakes, Rhea? What the hell for?
I just like them. I think they're cool.
Okay, well, you and Dion need to hang out then.
No, we don't.
He'll show you a snake. Gladly. That's not even from today. Here we go. Get off Bob's back. He had stage fright as he was overwhelmed by performing for Truth Nation. Artists/creative people need to be nurtured. Bob is 72 damn years old. He did all his nurturing is taking place already. Small dogs are often more aggressive than large dogs. Absolutely the truth. I was a meter reader back in the 90s and was only bitten once. Most dogs are cowards and will sneak behind you before they bite. It depends on the dog, depends on the owner, depends on how that dog is trained. But let me say this about small dogs. Because they're so small, owners never think to train them and to modify their behavior. So they let little dogs get away with nipping and snapping at people because they think everything little dogs do is cute. Little dogs oftentimes are the absolute worst. And they're very fierce. Pomeranians and Chihuahuas are some of the worst if the owners do not modify the behavior of those dogs. Speaking of someone who needs their behavior modified, Andy, you're on the new 1017 The Truth.
Yes, Mr. I believe I am the $5,000 giveaway winner. I have another issue to bring up, but I wanted to call and claim my award.
No, we're not even doing that contest today. And if you won, I would have to question the validity of the contest. So no, you didn't win, so there's nothing for you to claim.
Okay, I'll listen to the archive to just checking the evidence. I won't question your decision right now on the air. I'll check the archive. Also, Mr. Hughes, Professor Hughes, have you stated why you dislike dogs? I may have missed that.
It's not that I dislike dogs. It's just owners are reckless and irresponsible. It's not the dog's fault. The dog is an animal.
That's right.
The dog is a beast. Some people are just not equipped to be good dog owners because it takes a tremendous amount of patience and responsibility, and a lot of people don't have that, unfortunately.
Well, I agree with you 1,000. The issue also, right, the problem is that dogs require so much human discipline. The relationship is fundamentally flawed, Mr. Hughes. The relationship is one of great power and subordination. The dog is always subordinate to the owner, and it's not fun to watch such a relationship. Whereas with cats are their own beings. They make up their mind. They are uneducable for the most part, Mr. Hughes. You cannot dominate them, and they are not subordinate to an owner. That's why cats are superior dog owners. Sorry.
But what's the point of having a cat? Cats always look like they are plotting the murder of their owners. Always. You can't trust a cat. A cat will sneak up on you and claw your eyes out when you're sleeping. I do not understand the motivation behind having a cat as a pet.
I sleep every night with 5 cats, and I can assure you that they are not homicidal. Now,
wait,
animals.
Andy, how many cats do you have? How many?
5 inside my house and 3 in my garage, Mr. Hughes. That's 8. And there's another one that's coming around the house that may join the family. Now, I sleep with 5, but that does not mean
you sleep with them in your bed?
They sleep on top of me, yes, Mr. Hughes. They love me, and I love them. And we are equals in this house. The only contract is that they must go number 1 and number 2 in a box. That's it. Now, they are not homicidal, but they are animals. And were I to die in my sleep, Mr. Hughes, I would absolutely expect them to eat the soft tissue were they to be hungry. That's what an animal should do. Whereas a dog would just starve to death because they're so dumb.
I don't want you to trigger any of my dog listeners by you trying to say the cats are superior. I think you're going to anger some people.
Dog owners are fundamentally, they just want to dominate something. And I guess that's the dog's purpose in human society. Better that they dominate a dog in their house than another human being. Cats are superior. They are gods. Dogs, there's something that one gets to dominate. I think you'll agree, Mr. Hughes. I understand why you don't want to on the air, but I think deep down in your heart, you agree 1,000.
We can just leave it there, Andy, but I do appreciate your call. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the show.
All right, then. Andy, thank you. Cats are disgusting. And cat owners are a little weird, as evidenced by that call. Oh, come on. You know, cat people and dog people are from 2 different universes. Dogs have evolved right along with people. Some dogs are bred to be great companions. Some dogs are bred to be hunters. Some dogs are bred to be protectors. Like they have been bred with certain types of behaviors and intelligence in mind. Cats just smell like pee, and they go number 1 and number 2 in a box, and then they walk around in a box. I'm never doing a show on animals ever again. I'm going to take a break. We're going to come back and talk to someone named Taz. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee, it's Denise Thomas.
And Telly Hughes from Truth Be Told on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
We want to make sure you join us every Friday morning at 8 a.m. for our Black Friday shout-out powered by We Energies.
Black Friday is your opportunity to call into 1017 The Truth and shout out your Black-owned business and let Milwaukee know what you have to offer.
So hit us up every Friday at 8 a.m. to shout out your Black-owned business on Truth Be Told with DT and Telly.
We Energies want you to keep this important safety message in mind. Before you start digging, planting, or landscaping on your property, call 811 to have underground utilities marked. Calling 811 at least 3 business days before you plan to dig will help you know what's below and can prevent a hazardous situation. Our representatives will mark the underground utilities on your property for free. So remember, stay safe and call before you dig.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the new 1017 The Truth. Here is Denise Thomas with her truth.
The term diversity, equity, and inclusion has been at the forefront of many employers over the past 20 years, and even more so amplified since the release of the murder of George Floyd's video went viral. And for many of us that work in predominantly white environments, as members of Black or brown communities or traditionally marginalized communities, it's hard to understand exactly how I fit, how I adopt, and how I demonstrate the components of diversity, equity, inclusion. And more importantly, how am I on the receiving end? This is where communication and open dialogue is so important regarding this subject matter. It cannot and should be not treated as an extracurricular activity. It is a vital component in any businesses, business growth objectives, revenue generation, and more importantly, hiring and retaining a diverse pipeline of talented individuals. Have the conversations with your leader. Have the conversations with your direct reports. Have the conversations with people who make decisions on hiring, on culture, and promoting within. This is important. It will not go away. And we need to make sure that we're having the conversation so that everyone, regardless of how they identify, is embraced and feels a sense of belonging and knows that even throughout challenges or setbacks, they belong and they can win. That is the power. That is the truth. Use your voice. It is valuable and it deserves to be heard. That's a part of equity and inclusivity demonstrated within the workplace.
This has been Truth Takes on the new 1017 The Truth. Listen to The Truth Be Told with DT and Telly weekdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
.117 The Truth's Sherwin Hughes for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying rent to a landlord when you should be paying yourself? It's time for you to start on your path to owning your own home instead of renting. Many times your mortgage will be less than what you're paying for rent. In fact, the average family that works with Axe Housing pays about $800 a month. No matter what barriers you think you are facing, Axe Housing will have a coach on staff that can assist you today. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan and stick to a budget. In fact, they can even help you get more money for down payment assistance. Folks, you should be dreaming of owning your own home. You can get started today with virtual orientation by clicking on the Truth link at axehousing.org. That's ACTShousing.org. Don't let where you are financially today get in the way of your bright future. Axe coaches are here to help. That's axehousing.org. And also, Axe is in need of hiring additional contractors to work on homes, so get in touch with Axe today if you're a contractor, as they need to hire 100 contractors by the end of the year. Let's talk to Taz here on the new 1017 The Truth.
How you doing, Sharon?
Doing all right, Taz. How you doing now? Are you doing all right?
I'm all right.
Okay.
I'm all right. I shouldn't have told her Taz, man, but yeah, they call me LT. It's LT. I shouldn't have told her Taz. But sticking to that subject on the dogs, man, dude, I love dogs. I ain't gonna lie. I love them. I don't own one right now, but I own my own landscaping business. And if I run across some dog shit, and I gotta smell like dog crap all day, riding around, smell like dog crap. I hate it. I will double charge you if I have to smell this all day. If I have to get it off my riding lawnmower, I'm double charging. So I hate dog owners. But I love dogs.
Thank you for that. It was a very colorful commentary, Taz. Thank you.
I'm just putting that out there for everybody who wants their grass cut and their yard looking nice. Pick up your dog crap, please.
Hey, how much do you charge to cut a small Milwaukee-sized lot, front yard and backyard?
It ranges from $35 and up.
All right, let me get your number because a friend of mine is looking for somebody to cut their grass. Taz, are you in the Milwaukee area and surrounding suburbs? Do you cut grass in the surrounding area? Okay.
Yes, sir.
What's your number, Taz?
My number is 414 488 5218.
5218.
And don't nobody call. I ain't gonna lie. Don't nobody call me Taz number.
Why the hell I'm calling you Taz then, man? What your name is?
I don't know, man. It's Al T. I'm more professional now, man. Al T.
Al T.
T.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So you're going to get a whole bunch of people that's probably going to call you for some lawn services, Al T. So it's 414-488-5218. Do you have a name for your lawn care landscaping business?
It's Al T's Home Services.
Al T's Home Services. Okay, thank you, Al T.
Yes, sir.
All right then, buddy.
Yeah, but good. Have a blessed day.
All right, you
too. To you all.
Thank you very much. You too. Huh. Good catch there, Rhea. That's a good catch. Let's talk to, this will be the last word today. Sherman, you're on the new 101.7 The Truth. Don't cuss, please, Sherman. Try not to.
Yeah, I try my best not to cuss.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Sherman, I had I don't know if I still have a dog, but anyway, I was divorced. We ended up getting divorced, so she took the dogs in the divorce. And before we got divorced, everything was good. She hated dogs. My ex-wife hated dogs. So I had kept the dog at a different house. Brought the dog to the house one day. My ex-wife like, let her stay here for a couple hours. So the couple hours turned to like 15 years. But this is how the dog trained her. I come home one day, the dog was laying on the couch. I said, get that damn dog off the couch. She's like, shut up, they ain't your couch. I leave, come back a couple, everything going smooth, dog sitting on the couch, come back, the dog laying in the bed. I said, get that damn dog out that damn bed. She's like, shut up, they ain't your damn bed. One day the dog chased somebody, so I took her in the basement and chained her to the pole. The dog didn't say a word. She wasn't there. The ex-wife wasn't there at the time. As soon as she walked to the door, the dog started barking like, hey, I'm down in the basement, hell hostage. Then she got to pushing me, ex-wife got to pushing me, pinching skin out of my face and everything, talking about go get her. It's cold down there, there's bugs and all the rest of that stuff. The dog had trained my wife, trained her. She would not jump up in the bed if you there. She would bark and tell you to come pick her up, put her in the bed. Dog slept in the bed. Then she ended up getting pregnant by my other two dogs. Man, my wife took the dog to the vet and got her fixed and told me she was in pain. I was like, how you know that? Did she tell you this? She told you this? Got both of the dogs fixed. So now we got one dog. This dog died. I stole that dog from one of them jobs I worked at. The dude kept on calling back for his job. She's like, if you call here again, you're going to get cut. I love dogs, man. Charlie, you got to get you one. Dog is man's best friend because dog is the only animal that will give up his life for his master.
Why can't I just get a good woman that'll give up her life for me? And women can do other things the dogs can't. I hope.
You notice I said I was married?
Yeah. Oh, were married.
So I was married. So something must have happened that she must not have been a good woman or I must not have been a good husband, one of the two. But that dog always remained the same. She traded on me in the end during the divorce, so she chose who she wanted to go with. Both of the dogs.
Oh,
but I sure miss that damn dog, though, man.
But you don't miss the ex-wife?
No, I don't miss her.
Oh, okay.
No. My brother had asked me one time when he's locked up, he said, what would you pay if somebody kidnapped your dog? I said, all that I got and all that I can borrow. He said, what if somebody kidnapped your son? Well, you know, with my bank account set up, I just can't go get no money like that for him.
Wow.
Yeah. That dog, man, I love that damn dog. She passed away now. She was getting old. She was 17 years old.
What kind of dog was it?
Yeah. It was a pit bull. She never slept on the floor. She was bougie, too. She was a fat, bougie pit bull.
Fat,
bougie. She didn't want to step in mud. If you look at her while she's taking the bath, getting ready to use the bathroom, no, she going to look up. She going to stand back up. Wait till you turn your head. She has some pride about herself. Yep. Always. She'll never jump up in the bed unless the bed is made. If it's just a regular mattress there, no, she ain't getting up there. I love that dog. You got to get you one.
Maybe we need to get you one. We need to get you another pit bull. Sounds like
I'm too busy for a dog right now.
All right.
Yep, I love that dog. But she still got the other one, dog. She told me don't come over there and see her.
Well, hopefully you guys can set up some visitation, I hope. But I got to go, Sean.
We had visitations until we had to put the dog to sleep. Told me don't come over there no more. Get you a dog, man. You'll see why.
All right. Thank you for the advice.
Have a good week.
All right. You too. Yep. Okay. I don't even know. Sir Chauncey says, Andy, the questionable adult filmmaker, admittedly sleeps with 5 cats. Damn. Mr. Mahdi sent a picture of, he's with my guy, Jason Fields. I hope Jason knows that he's in danger if he's hanging out with you, Mr. Mahdi. And Mr. Mahdi, are these your cats? Yeah, you seem like you'd be a cat person. 414875 says, history of cats were to take of mice and rats. Vermin carried fleas which spread plagues. Hence, many people accused of witchcraft often never succumbed to diseases related to fleas/vermin that made them targets for Puritans. 808s and Heartbreak says North Division's rat problem could be eradicated overnight if they unleashed the Humane Society's population in the school unfettered over a weekend. Kevin says, I agree. Cats are superior. They're smarter and very independent. Wow, this has been probably one of the more interesting radio shows I've ever done, and we're going to have to leave it there because Melanie Ricks is up next.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.